you as a South Park reference.
And we are now recording. Alrighty. I'll be taking your seat. There we go.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
So this is my marketing proposal. Thumbs up. So this is just a summary of the marketing plan. So our target is to increase the number of active green pledged to the Earth Day Network website by 3 billion by April 2020. And we've done some rough calculations and we've worked out that we need an average of 62 million active green to be pledged each month over a 5-month period to be able to achieve this. So the conversion rate for donations for non-profit organisations is around 15%, but we've increased this to 20% because we're not asking for any form of money. So we've worked out roughly that we need to reach around 311.8 million people a month. Okay, so our organisation. Earth Day Network is a 501c3 non-profit organisation that provides environmental services. It was founded in 1994, however the sort of event and movement have been going since 1970. Okay, so a little brief history of us. In 1969, at a UNESCO conference in San Francisco, peace activist John McConnell, yeah, I did say his name right, he proposed a day to honour the Earth and the concept of peace. On March 21st, 1970, the first ever Earth Day was celebrated. A month after this first Earth Day, a separate Earth Day was founded by the United States Senator Gaylord Nelson as an environmental teach-in, and that was first held on the 22nd of April. Dennis Hayes, who worked on this original, well, not original, but second Earth Day that was held in 1970, he helped to organise this. He's an environmental activist and advocate for solar panels. He founded the Earth Day Network in 1994 and has expanded it to over 180 nations. I think we're sitting at 192 currently. This is our current president, Kathleen Rogers. She's developed the Earth Day Network into a year-round event. Lost my words. More than a billion people participate in Earth Day in over 192 countries. Prior to her work with Earth Day Network, she's held positions in the National Audubon Society and the Environmental Law Institute, as well as 2 US Olympic organising committees. Most notably, she's overseen the International Train Migratory Species and Biodiversity Programmes and has been responsible for bringing the first citizens' complaint against the before the Commission of Environmental Cooperation, which is obviously quite a big deal. So our mission, vision and values are to diversify, educate and activate the environmental movement worldwide. And we do this through education, public policy and consumer campaigns. Our key business objective is that it's the 50th anniversary of Earth Day this year, well, the year coming. And so basically we feel that there is, lost my words again. The time is long overdue for a global outpouring of energy, enthusiasm and commitment to create a new environmental paradigm. So Earth Day 2020 can be the catalyst that galvanises an unparalleled global collaboration. So an outline of our services. Earth Day Network is a company that coordinates and runs the Earth Day events all over the world. It's a day of political action and civil participation. So people will be marching, signing petitions, meeting with their elected officials in their sort of like communities. They'll plant trees, clean up their towns and roads. Corporations and governments use Earth Day to make pledges and announce sustainability measures. So in a way, we're sort of I don't know, we're like a platform for getting out that information and sort of like making it seen more, I guess. Faith leaders, including Pope Francis, have connected with Earth Day, saying that people should participate because we should be creating God's greatest creations, so humans, biodiversity, and the planet. Okay, so our financial statement. The last financial statement published was in 2017, at which point revenue was higher than expenses and net assets were worth 1.2 million. I think that's the number. Okay, so this means that the company isn't in a negative financial position, and the net assets have increased by a significant amount since the year prior, from 305,000. I'm so good at reading numbers. Okay, so because the company is a non-profit organisation, however, finances are limited and it's not necessarily going to be put onto marketing, because quite a lot of the stuff that marketing wise we've sort of done in the past and whatever is sort of through sort of consumers, I guess. So any marketing campaigns that happen should really be low cost, because all the money that we get, like, really, as much of it as possible isn't meant to, it's non-profit. We're a non-profit organisation. Okay, so a brief SWOT analysis of our company. We have a rich and interesting history of activism, and in 2020 it will be the 50th year of Earth Day, so this is a fairly good marketing point. They are our strengths. Our weakness is that we're a non-profit organisation, so we won't have a huge marketing budget. Our opportunities are that we've got 75,000 partners in almost 192 countries, and these companies may be used as a tool to gain wider consumer reach. And the rise of climate change activism over the last few years is obviously a big opportunity for us to sort of get some organic reach within, like, people who are currently sort of parts of the movement, and sort of getting them to push out what we send out. And threats to us are competition from other organisations, and government and other organisations that dispel climate change as nothing more than a myth. Okay, our market overview. The target market for this campaign is people between the ages of 16 and 24. There is lower employment levels and generally smaller incomes, meaning that adults typically have a limited disposable income. This means that our marketing is going to focus more on sort of social media type things. We're not going to ask them to pledge any money, we're just going to ask them to sort of do sort of certain things, maybe change their lifestyle a little bit. There's not going to be any like radical changes. We're not going to ask people to like give like £1 million, or obviously £1 million is unrealistic for most people, but okay, so young people constitute the majority of the population, and in many countries they also have an increasingly strong social and environmental awareness, so we're thinking that they would be a good set of people to get involved with what we're doing, especially when you look at our ideal customer is a young person who is passionate about climate change prevention and is active on social media. So they'll be motivated by a need to protect the planet, and this will mean that they're more likely to actually commit to pledging acts of green. But the people in this age demographic are also more likely to have an impact on their peers and family members, especially given sort of the fact that they'll have online friends that they don't necessarily see in person, that they're more likely to talk to over social media, and whatnot. Yeah, sort of started going somewhere and didn't really know where I was going. Okay, so our competitor profile. As we're a non-profit organisation that fights for the earth and climate change, competition isn't necessarily our priority, because in the grand scheme of things, all and any donations and pledges to any organisation that is in a similar boat to us is raising awareness for the joint issues that we share and ultimately helping the planet. So to compare us to another environmental service organisation, such as Extinction Rebellion, we raise awareness and understanding by taking a non-destructive approach, whereas Extinction Rebellion encourages people to disrupt flows of traffic, which is actually worse for the environment than just allowing traffic to flow through. They also encourage people to stage potentially dangerous protests and other sort of events that generally tend to inconvenience the general public. So this diminishes their relationship with a lot of environmentalists themselves, and also reduces the likelihood of convincing the general public to join the cause. So we believe that there is a gap in the market to create relationships with consumers and getting them to encourage small changes that will better the world and not hurt it. So our main marketing objective is to increase consumer engagement measured using the number of acts of green pledged, which we hope to raise to 3 billion by April 2020, ultimately increasing awareness for Earth Day Network, building relationships with consumers and helping to improve the environment. Okay, so our strategy, we will be focusing on the online market. We will be focusing on online marketing campaigns to better reach our target audience, and these will ideally be carried out with accessibility functions for people who speak some of the world's most spoken languages, Mandarin, Hindustani and Spanish, because obviously we operate in so many countries. We want to try and reach as many people in those countries as possible, as well as in English-speaking countries, because we're a worldwide organisation and we don't just promote one. We won't just promote in one language. We respect the whole world. Okay, so the marketing mix that we will be using are a short documentary for social media celebrating 50 years of Earth Day. This is probably going to go onto Facebook, and maybe we'll have an edited version that's slightly shorter for Instagram, and maybe Snapchat. So it's going to be about celebrating 50 years of Earth Day. It will be roughly a minute in length to hold audience engagement. We are going to be doing what we call projection graffiti, and this is an experience which will highlight the effects of climate change and examples of acts of green that can be pledged. And we're going to do this using guerrilla tactics in the hopes of creating a viral effect. So from a little bit of research we did into our target market, given their lack of, they tend to have a lack of funds, our target market, so they actually tend to appreciate experiences over sort of material things. So we're thinking with something like this where they're actually sort of involved, that might get them more engaged and sort of, yeah. Okay, next up we have a photography competition where people will share their own photographs of their acts of green using the hashtag acts of green. This will increase the presence of Earth Network online, and if it's seen to be a trending topic, more young people will hopefully join the movement. We are currently working, oh, I've lost it now. Okay, but anyway, we're currently working on some sort of AI style Snapchat filters, because they help to they're creative, they're interesting, they're also fairly immersive. when you see something sort of on your face or like in your environment, it's fairly engaging and also more personal, and we're hoping that using something like that will sort of get people talking, sharing it. You see the Earth Day logo somewhere, you'd be like, oh, what are they talking about? Have a look on the internet, find it. You'll see all our stuff on the internet, and then maybe people will start making more pledges for Acts of Green. Okay, an Instagram short video featuring a motion graphic urging people to commit Acts of Green using the hashtag Acts of Green. So this is just going to be like a short sort of block colour with like words going bam 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 bam, like Acts of Green. And then we'll maybe do like a few different versions of it that sort of show like different, maybe like different short ones of people committing an act of green, sort of, oh yeah, I'm using metal straws or bamboo straws now, I won't use any reusable non-reusable plastics, anything like that. Okay, so our action steps. Regret making it, and it's gone again. But I've got.
If you use the back button.
I'll just wait. This keyboard.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. That's
there we go. Bang! It's bang. Okay, so our 10 action steps to achieve this goal are to complete our marketing budget. We're going to plan content, build the marketing assets, and then create these assets. We're going to research areas with high amount of footfall that we could use to project onto to make sure that our campaign is actually being seen and is worthwhile, because the projection campaign is probably going to be the one that takes the most money, and we want to make sure that it is actually going to be worth it. Okay, so we're going to run the assets by a test panel of our target audience before we release it, just to make sure that we're on the right track, see if they think that it's engaging, see whether they think there's things that we could do to tailor it more towards them. Okay, and then we'll make those alterations. We'll push all of our outbound content out on social media, launch our photography campaign, begin our projection experience, get that going, and then we will complete our photography competition, and that is it. Any questions? You don't have to ask me questions, but if you want to ask me questions,
we can open up to the floor first.
I might have answers, I might not.
Questions or comments?
I think whatever I'd ask, you probably would have the answers. I don't know, it's very detailed in the presentation, so I don't know if I would have any questions.
Do you think you'll achieve your targets?
Yeah.
I think you've covered like the questions that someone might have in your presentation. So.
If your target works, what do you think will happen around the world in terms of climate change? Do you reckon your campaign has the power to...
Well, I'm not an environmental expert, so I wouldn't necessarily be able to answer those questions for you. However, if we can get 3 billion pledges for people to make Acts of Green, that is a lot of people. How many people are there in the world? 7 billion? See, that's almost half the world's population.
And how will you know that these people are will actually go through with their pledges?
Because if you're interested and engaged enough in our organisation to actually take the time to write your pledge and commit to it, you're more than likely going to be likely to want to actually commit that act of pledge. And really, everyone should be engaged enough with the climate and the current sort of issues that we're having that they should be willing to make small changes to their lifestyles to be able to do it, and hopefully with our marketing that will show them.
Sold I have been.
So yeah, I mean, kind of just following on from that, so the metrics by which you measure the success will be the amount of green pledges that are registered on the website,
yes.
On the Earth Day website.
Yes.
Okay. How will you make it clear how people, create those pledges? Because you've just now said that people have got to write their own pledges. So will there be a kind of easy to understand? Because for mass engagement, it needs to be absolutely idiot-proof. Is there anything in your campaign that kind of works towards making that very clear how people complete that?
Well, in our any sort of content that we put onto Facebook and Instagram, there will be in the description a sort of, this is how you make a pledge. Follow our sort of, go to our bio in Instagram. Obviously, you can't actually put links in, but we'll say go to our biography page, click on the link, and there'll be instructions on how to create your acts of green, and all you really have to say when you're doing these, they will explain it's this most simple thing. You can just say, I'm going to stop using non-reusable plastics. You just have to write that down, and you send your pledge off, and you've pledged to be more green.
Okay. Questions on that one is maybe, could it be useful, because you said that obviously in descriptions and so on it might be written down. Most young people don't like reading stuff. Is there maybe a way that you can integrate in your marketing campaign maybe a short kind of explainer element to it? Just kind of like breaking it down so that, because I think that will hugely increase your conversion rate if it's like very visually, like even what you were saying with like motion graphics, you know, the kind of appealing for it, but maybe also highlighting the simplicity of it. Because a lot of people might have problems with kind of knowing what is the right thing to do in a kind of uber woke society. You know, what you think might be a good pledge, other people might be saying like, oh well, no, actually, didn't you know that this and this creates this and this problem? You know, like avoiding, you know, eating food that comes from far away. You know, there are flip sides to it, or some people can claim that there are flip sides to that. So maybe some guidance on that one, or maybe even like some example pledges that people can that could maybe be quite useful, just to kind of reassure people in a certain way. So that was the one thing. Otherwise, the marketing sounds really quite cool and exciting. What I would suggest is that for the projection, because you know, in terms of what you want to show for your projection mapping assets is some examples of how there will be projection maps. And you kind of mentioned in your time plan, you know, about identifying the correct kind of places. In order to, you know, you will need to create those assets still. How are you going to be showcasing that? Are you going to be creating little models, maybe of said things, and then trying to actually physically project on it?
I think probably.
Or what was your idea for those assets? Because obviously you're thinking about key locations.
Yeah. With the assets, we were either thinking with the Instagram campaign that we've got, maybe just doing sort of like a few of those short flash sort of ones, and then also some that potentially are quite not horrific to watch, but quite shocking sort of images of, or sort of like videos of the effects that we are having on the earth and what's going to happen if we continue to do such things.
Yeah, but in particular for the projection mapping, what were your kind of ideas in terms of what assets you can deliver? Well, we can have a chat about that later if you want, like aside from the presentation, because I want to kind of separate the marketing concept presentation from now the practicalities in terms of the submission. But yeah, I mean it's a very nice, professionally done, you know, marketing proposal presentation. You certainly covered a lot of ground. Straight away, I would say probably a bit front heavy. You know, in terms of background and so and such. But again, good in terms of setting the scene and making everyone here aware of what the context is, but it might have been a bit front heavy.
Yeah.
In terms of minutes. Yeah, no, fantastic. Any other kind of comments or other suggestions, ideas, considerations?
It
Just
was
so
well-
you're aware, it's actually 7.7 billion now.
Can we stop having children, please?
So what,
I'm
another
literally
one?
looking at it right now because you know in school how you had like the worldometer things.
The
Yeah.
counter.
This year 131,817,000 and so far 510 as of that second have been
We're like
born.
rabbits, aren't we?
55,340 and 1,168 as of that moment have died this year.
Or another 5
Literally.
died.
Twice as many
7.
people have been born.
How
Over
many people
twice.
have died?
I,
15.
And the population
I'll
growth
go
this year
next,
is
Julie.
20 people have just died.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm just gonna need
I wanna
to.
just print
So yeah, thank you very much, Imogen. Well done.
Apparently you can't print them.
So, just very quickly, I want.
yeah, it's the later one. It's the PowerPoint one I sent you to.
Alrighty. So.
Oh,
I like that you have a house style, Tom.
a house.
Yeah, you always sort of go for this sort of theme, and I like that.
Okay,
Alrighty.
well, that's.
We are good to go.
Shall I speak? If I press that, will that make it go?
Or the mouse button,
Okay.
yeah. Either of them. Or the, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Cool.
So my marketing is going to be for Visit Colchester, and I want to promote some of the attractions which we have in Colchester because I don't feel at the minute they're getting as much attention as they would ideally be getting. And that's my name, Thomas. Hi there. Let's see if this works. Yeah. Okay. So my smart targets. Well, I've got 4 smart targets. Some are probably better than the others. So my first target is to reach 100 views on YouTube if I can market things correctly. So by sharing on various social media platforms. Also a collaboration with Visit Colchester, and I can sort of hop on their current publicity and excel that viewer base. I want to also increase the Visit Colchester traffic by 100%. At the minute they only have had 96 hashtags used over social media in the last few months, and I would like that to be another 96 more uses. I'm not very good at maths, so I'm not gonna. You can probably work out how many that'll be. So another 96 more on top of the 96. Also on Twitter, I've done some research on social media. So Visit Colchester has 9,700 followers on Twitter, and on Instagram it has 4,400 followers and 6,200 likes on Facebook. And at the current minute, it may be different according to what Shana said, but Colchester is a town of 192,523 people. You're talking about births and deaths and that, aren't you?
Alright.
So and its social media pages have 20,300 followers accumulated. And ideally, in a good world, you would sort of want everyone who lives in Colchester to be in touch with its social media footprint. And I want to get, but I identify that that's not possible. So I thought maybe if I could get all accounts onto 10,000 followers by the summer, I think that would probably be quite an achievement. And as I said, sort of, I want all of this to sort of have worked itself out to have a summer 2020 a good summer for Colchester in terms of tourism and things like that. So this is not much on here because I'm going to talk about stuff. So Visit Colchester is a non-profit organisation which tries to get members of the public to visit the town. For some reason they're calling it at the moment Britain's first city. We're not a city, but that's another thing for another day. But you know, sort of at the minute they're sort of using the castle as a kind of a vessel to attract visitors to Colchester. But to my mind, that's not working. Just slapping a photo of a castle on the internet, that's not necessarily the best way to market things. So I feel that with the new technology available to us in the 21st century, I feel that we could sort of enhance what we've got, but make it more technologically advanced. So Visit Colchester's mission, I did sort of just briefly touch on it, but I'll say a bit more about it. It was founded in June 2010, and its purpose is to attract visitors to Colchester, and it uses the town's extensive history and the famous castle as a vessel to get people to visit. At the minute, that's all they really tend to use, that photo. Maybe they take it from a few different angles, but that's it. It's just a front of a castle, and to me, I just don't really feel that that's the best way to sort of do things. So my target market is people aged 5 to 25 years of age, because I feel that the history kind of is lost on them, and these people are also very tech savvy. These are the companies that sort of Oculus and HTC Vive are trying to sort of get to buy their products. So I feel that if I can sort of merge the VR with the history, I feel that I can sort of engage a new target market which has otherwise not really been tapped into. Right, so the customer profile is from ages 5 to 25 years of age. They have a generation being targeted with all of this new technologies. They're being developed with the idea that these people will take them into the future. And I want to use this technology to highlight what is on their doorstep. So, you know, all of the like the castle, the priory, the Abbey Gate, which is just a little bit out of town. All of these places, and also the massive Civil War siege as well that we have here. So, competitor profile. So obviously East Anglia is our region we're in, aren't we? So obviously you've got your Chelmsfords, your Ipswiches, your Norwiches. Where has Cambridge gone? It's not there. But also Cambridge because it's nearby. So these are places all have their own tourism organisation, and obviously we are the smallest town out of all of these, I think. Is it? It seems bigger anyway. It seems bigger.
There's more there, that's
yeah.
why.
And I feel that Colchester at the minute is losing out to places like this. And I think that maybe the current marketing technique on Visit Colchester, no disrespect to them, that might possibly not be helping the situation. So the marketing objectives, this is like what I want to actually do with all of this. I want to get people to view Colchester's greatest landmarks through the wonders of VR and social media based mediums by making a weekly mini-series on each Colchester landmark. It seems today that people watch sort of TV series, don't they? They like want to just watch instalments of stuff, and kind of it's going to be a mini series, but it'll be two at the same time. Every video will be in VR and also will be viewable on social media, so that I'm not excluding one market, and it will just tend to be about landmarks in Colchester. So this will be a weekly release, and and it will feature landmarks in Colchester. Not only will you see them, but there'll be a voiceover. There might even be some sounds in there, like if I'm, for instance, in the castle, I might make some Foley of some old Norman castle to kind of immerse you even more in it. And the weekly instalments would be a strategy to keep people interested in what is coming up next, and they will follow the pages so that they can be notified as to when the next episode is out. It will be, as I said, a mini-series, and with a weekly release, and every week will be another landmark in the town and its history, and kind of what it's used for nowadays. Obviously, in order for this to even happen, I would have to first kind of meet with Visit Colchester, and I would need to hold a meeting, tell them my plan and ask them what they can do to help me and what I can do to help them. Right, so here are my action steps. This is like how I'm going to actually do this. So firstly, I'm going to contact Visit Colchester and sort of form a partnership with them for this project, and as I said, see if they can help me and see how I can help them. Then once I am given the approval, if I am given the approval, I will then sort of go through all of their social media posts, and I will look at the analytics on them, and I will see kind of their engagement rate, what worked, what didn't work, and I would use those good features and add kind of what I think needs to happen, and I'd hopefully see the improvement. To be realistic, I can't go for every landmark in Colchester because there will be too many, so I reckon about 4 to 6 of the most famous ones, and make videos on them. And then after I've made these videos and know kind of what they're going to be about and how long they're going to last, I'll plan a release schedule. This one probably is a bit less realistic, but I was just kind of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. So use Colchester United players who have like kind of social media bases to shout out Visit Colchester. So using, you know, Colchester United, everyone should like Colchester United, and you know, it's sort of, that would work for kind of engagement outside of Colchester if they've been to many clubs. And another thing that I've discovered, on Snapchat and Instagram, you can geotag posts. So for instance, I could go into Castle Park, take a photo of the castle, or, you know, make a VR video on the castle, and I could get it geotagged in Castle Park.
Mm-hmm.
And then people who are interested can see where actually that location is and can go there. And this will all be, obviously it will be for submission in February, but it will ideally be kind of for public consumption in summer 2020 to get people here in the summer holidays and times like that. And that's the end.
Okay, so
Yes.
question.
You said that to promote Colchester,
Yeah.
you would ask the Col Youth players
Yeah.
to sort of shout it out. You also have got artists that grew up in the area. You know, you've got Ollie Murs, Ed Sheeran. You've got Dermot O'Leary as well.
The reason I sort of I did think about, and I know this sounds like, well, of course you can say it, but I did think of that, but I thought to myself, like, they've got millions of followers, but whereas Colchester United players only have like 10,000 or so, and I just feel like if I tried to contact O'Leary, I'll just get kind of washed away in all of his other followers trying to contact him.
Would it also be worth sort of trying to create a sponsorship with Col U as well?
Yeah, I guess so.
Because think about it, if you've got Visit Colchester logos on your shirts,
Yeah.
they're travelling to places like Millwall. And, well, I know they're going to Plymouth as well.
Yeah,
So they're literally going across country and all around
yeah.
the
That I
country.
didn't think of that.
Go to Manchester then.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. But again, it's just sort of the logistics. They've just signed a new sponsorship deal with Texo, and that's a few years. So I don't think that they'd sort of, you know, kind of throw away as quite a lucrative sponsorship deal
Yeah.
for a small company. Any more questions? Hello, Jack.
You've got your little mini series
Yeah.
in VR,
Yeah.
and obviously able to view
Yeah.
without VR.
Yeah.
Was there anything like else that you were planning to use, or is that your main kind of?
Well, I was going to make a mini series, but obviously virtual reality would allow you to see more in the video. You'd see the locations, but I wanted to make it non-VR as well, so you could just like watch it at home on your phone and just, I'm not going to give away everything, but I'm going to give away enough so people can go, oh, I want to come and see this. I want to see what this is all about. Yeah.
Say someone doesn't have access to, I don't know, the internet. Have you got any material you can make
Well,
for those sort of people?
one thing I did consider, but I don't know who owns them. I've noticed around town you have those like boards, don't you, that have like bus times?
The interactive.
Yeah, the interactive boards. And I don't know who owns them. That's why I didn't put it in there, because I don't know who
That would
owns
be
them.
council.
And I was thinking, what would be the logistics of getting a video, just a standard video played on one of them?
I don't know. Obviously, those
Yeah.
are paid for advertising spaces. I think actually the Clearview is usually the company.
Yeah, that's
that
what I
runs
did
them.
think of that, but I thought to
Um,
myself, that might be a logistical error.
Well, what you could do is, if you wanted to, you could plan it in for your assets. The only problem that I see is you don't need to advertise Visit Colchester to people who are on the street of Colchester.
Yeah, that's why I was sort of going for the internet, because,
Yeah.
and obviously, you know, as I mentioned, this is more a younger person's venture, like, sort of, no, like, not that I don't want them to, but kind of, like, older people sort of know the history and appreciate it, and sort of will come and understand it, so I don't need to tell them stuff they already know, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
I want to, you know, make it engaging for, this is going to sound weird, but for children and that, so like that they can kind of learn about the town that they live in.
But at the moment, they're doing that through VR videos or
Yeah.
standard videos that are extracted from the VR footage. Is that
No,
correct? I understood
no.
it? Sorry.
No, sorry, I didn't make that clear.
Yeah.
So I was going to make a VR video, like shot on a 360 cam, all
Yeah.
sort of like normally done.
From a different location.
Yeah,
for each
yeah.
location. Yeah.
But
okay.
also, whilst I was there, I was going to have like a C100 and do another video as well, if that makes sense. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I wasn't
makes sense.
gonna.
That's all right. Okay.
Yeah.
And that becomes part. So which one is part of the mini-series? Because in
Well,
a
I'm
way, the
obviously-
VR and
Yeah.
the standard video could be a mini-series.
Well, I will probably. I'll do like 2 editions of each thing. Like every
Okay.
week.
Was that what you planned?
Yeah, like every week will be a different location.
Yeah.
But there'll be 2 videos on each location to account for.
So what I would suggest is that you should create one video that is an amalgamation of all of them.
Yeah, I can try.
That brings all of the different, you know, if you've got 6 different locations, that just kind of does like, you know, like
Yeah.
a little bit of an advertorial thing.
So like
that
make
shows
a
up
full version of it, sort of.
a very
yeah.
a short version,
Yeah.
something that's like, you know, maximum of like a minute long or something that
Yeah.
is summarizing all of the
Yeah.
the kind of
Okay.
destinations that you're putting, because
Yeah.
that can be your kind of more front facing, because some people might not buy into the episodical thing. You
No.
need somebody to kind of, you need to whet people's appetite.
What I'll do is, and
to
this
watch.
is sort of what tends to happen when you make these things, like, I know Telltale do it with their games, and not that it's a game, it's the same sort of thing. They do an episodic staggered release, but then they release them all together at the end.
Yeah, but I don't mean it in that way. I mean, to get people to invest in like their time and their viewing time into something that is
Yeah.
of an episodic nature, because
Yeah.
people might think like, well, actually, I'm not interested in not just watching one location being highlighted in a video, you know, but rather if they've kind of seen in a kind of 30-second or 1 minute clip, a kind of like quick kind of flash through all of the different
Yeah.
locations, they might think that, oh, actually, yeah, I wouldn't mind finding out a bit more about the kind of castle
Yeah.
thing, and then they kind of can dip
Tune
into
in on
that
whatever
one.
week it comes
Yeah.
out, yeah.
So in a way, that might be good to have that one video
Yeah.
that just kind of like pushes people to kind of go and watch
Yeah.
that
Okay.
content.
Yeah. Right, Jack.
Right. Let me try and word this question correctly. Right. I don't remember the exact figures, but you had a lot of figures about what you wanted to increase the
Yeah.
social media engagement with.
Yeah.
Your target audience was, I think, 5 to 25.
Yes.
I can see probably 16 onwards being quite social media engaged in, but probably not much below that.
The reason
Do you think
I
you
s-
can still reach those figures?
Yes, and the 5-year-old thing is because it seems that, you know, I was thinking sort of as I stood up here, I was thinking like Colchester schools might want what I've done. Schools in Colchester might want what I've done. But I know that isn't necessarily Visit Colchester, but obviously once, depending on the success of something, that could indicate what happens
I mean,
next.
it wouldn't necessarily,
Well, that's enough.
it wouldn't necessarily serve your your SMART objective?
Well, okay, right. Well,
Because obviously
Or
schools,
maybe another
parents are
thing,
local
yeah.
anyways. You know, you want the kind of outbound interest.
well,
I mean, the VR thing does
Yeah.
that very well, but you need to kind of spread the word out about that.
well. What I would have to do is, I guess, I'd have to look at the locations of engagements on Visit Culture to see how far they're going.
Mhm.
Like, I'm pretty certain it's just Ipswich and Norwich are the furthest it hits, but you never know. There could be someone in like New Zealand who's watched a Visit Colchester video, but you never know. Imogen, I thought you had your hand up.
Sort of my main question was sort of relating to all this. It seems that, like, from looking at your SMART targets and whatnot, you seem to be more focusing on Colchester residents in your sort of like research and your like what you're doing.
Yeah,
and
no,
is
yeah.
it necessarily for your company, which is Visit Colchester? Is it best to target people who already live in Colchester because they probably know
think-
quite a lot
I
about what
think
you're doing?
Taking that approach is a positive and a negative thing. It's positive because, like, kind of your movements start at home, don't they? Like, you start at home and then move on out. So I feel like if I can sort of crack Colchester and I've got a viewer base in Colchester, you know, maybe then that you can look at going forward, because like you've got to have like the local people on side before you can sort of branch out. And I feel that Visit Colchester sort of doesn't have the local engagement.
What about that guy Rodriguez who didn't make it in the US in his hometown, but everyone loved him in South Africa?
Yeah, that's
Like,
yeah.
is it necessarily like, is Colchester like really the best market? Because, like, I mean, we're all in your target audience range. I've been to most of the attractions.
Yeah,
Like
I
attractions in
do
Colchester,
I do
and, like,
see that. I do sort of see that, but the problem is, like, Colchester sort of isn't like Norwich, isn't like Cambridge, it isn't like a city world renowned, is it? So it relies a lot on local people to promote it. It relies on local engagement. Like, you could pretty much go anywhere in the world and mention Cambridge and someone somewhere will know roughly where it is and what it's famous for. But Colchester, only local people from Colchester.
I think I disagree with you there.
I would as well.
I feel just like Colchester just isn't known, you know
A
what
lot
I mean?
of people come here from like Asia.
Yeah.
Like
Look at
to-
the foreign students that go to the university.
Yeah.
You've got the
Um,
university as a pull for just going to sound awful, foreigners. Okay.
Okay, well,
I can't.
That's fine, that's
No.
fine. Hello.
Can't describe it another way.
No, we get it, Sean, we get it.
I don't know what I mean. But think about it. You get loads and loads of families coming to see their children who are in the university block.
Yeah.
You've got.
I guess another thing I could rely on is actually these like university students coming, like doing their however many years of study, then going back to sort of, this is going to sound even better, going back to like their homes, and then sort of saying, oh, Colchester, you know, what a lovely place, look at this video of the castle, you like that, let's go and visit next summer.
Right, yeah.
Sort of thing.
So you need
Yeah.
to, in a way, get
Yeah.
people who are here and
Yeah.
who are likely to spread the word to become
Yeah.
brand ambassadors,
Yeah,
essentially.
people who aren't going to stay here forever
Mm.
can take the message with them, sort of thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, I seem to get your ideas and your SMART targets, but I don't think they match up, or not quite anyway.
Okay.
That's what.
I think it's quite right. Maybe there needs to be some tweaking because you've got like 4 different SMART targets. Maybe there's a way of whittling it down to just like 2 and making
Yeah.
sure that those are directly served
Okay.
by the videos that you're proposing to create.
No, okay,
I think that might just be helpful because otherwise
I can have a look at what I want to do and try and rewrite.
I mean, it's good that you've got 4 in a way. It always allows us to keep the best 2 ones
Yeah.
and kind of take it from there.
Okay.
Thank you
Any
for
more?
your time.
Yeah. Cool. All right,
Awesome.
well done.
Trapdoor. That's released the trapdoor.
Yeah. That was.
Thank you for your input.
We should have done this like Dragon's Den.
Good question. I don't know.
Not rather written.
Elliot, could we have you again as our master testing
Monkey.
person?
Yeah, sure, I can be the monkey
Yeah,
person.
because we
you need
didn't
me
do-
to log on?
Yeah, so just if you can try and access the module guide again via the... Other
Do you want me
people
to
can
go?
also
Yeah,
do it
you
if
can
you're
already.
logged on the on the wireless network.
I didn't mean to grow you, I thought I was helping you.
No, you're
Let's
fine.
have a look.
I always get
Wait, is it
worried when I...
open?
We should have a trapdoor and just a little back.
Yes!
I was going to go.
Well, we should have done it like
set up
Dragon's Den.
everything, but,
I am so
I'm out.
down.
Oh, does this mean we'd have one?
I'm very rich, but I'm not going to lend you 50 quid.
I'd really like the idea
And
if
you
we had a
can
massive
also
pile of
have a
money
separate
there.
Oh wait, is anyone actually ready? Because I'll go next.
Oh, so if you can just give us 5 minutes.
It's
But yeah,
really hard
thank you.
to find.
Can I load up in that, is that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, if you plug it in alongside.
Okay.
I'll flip those.
That's just easy enough. Direct
I would also like to preempt, Jim. I thought this was due tomorrow. I don't know why.
See,
I think it's because we have. Well, we're doing mock
Did say
interviews
that-
tomorrow.
Oh, I don't know.
Are we doing mock interviews tomorrow? Or
Oh,
we
please
have
don't do
those
this
But
today?
yeah, we've got to. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why.
That's probably why you
I
guys
did the
were
job
confused.
interviews because
I don't know why I thought it was tomorrow. I feel like I read.
No, I knew this was due
Somewhere.
today. I've just
It
been
said on the
hectic.
10th.
Okay.
We've got one on the
Ooh,
13th
Sam.
as well.
They have
Was
salmon
this
and cream cheese.
digital?
Wait, what's on the 13th?
Nick's thing.
What's
They
tomorrow?
have smoked salmon cheese.
Oh, that one does
What's
say on the
tomorrow?
11th.
Tomorrow's
but
job
that's
interviews.
because-
Friday
what I
is
read.
when
Yeah.
we're doing the documentary
Because I went to go and look
presentation.
at it.
Yeah, I know about that one.
Yeah.
Is the job interview the same as we did it last time? Did we gonna
That
read
was
it?
different
When did
format.
these interviews come?
So we're not gonna
When
read a
did
bit of
these
paper?
happen?
No.
Oh, no, not in that way. Okay, so that one doesn't work. So can you
Have
go
a
on
cheese
the
and bread.
faculty curriculum?
I'm gonna wear a
Tuna,
tie.
mayo, and a poppy seed.
I can't find me bloody thing.
I'm so sad.
Where are you?
Okay, and if you
Just
go
go
on the
on the
module guides,
St. Isaac's Walk.
well, that works so
So
far.
really?
So
What is that, the
introduction,
difference to that?
and now let's try to get one of the level 6 module guides up.
Sir Isaac's Walk is
Sir Isaac's Walk.
Head Street.
No.
If you go down
I'll
and
I'll
then
sit
walk,
off here later.
like if you come onto Head Street and then go straight round the corner,
Can I close this?
um, it's where the vintage shop
Was.
It's on the corner of that, isn't
the
it?
yeah the vintage shop,
Yeah.
the chocolate dolly shop.
Yeah, no, it's
Oh,
because
it's
I'm saying,
there.
I
That long
mean,
road that's also like
it's
long
up
wide
to
street,
you.
short wide street. It moves
Yeah.
up and down in Sir Isaac's Walk, and it's
Okay.
in that bit. It's
So now-
sort of
yeah, so
opposite
it's from the portal,
Subway.
but as soon as it's
Okay, yeah.
going down, is that
I was told yesterday, I didn't miss it.
It's going out and then coming back in again. That seems to be when the issue is. Whereas
so
if
is it
you're-
firewall?
if you're-
Should I check if I'm not on this on the BYO Wi-Fi? I'll just kind of use my phone.
Yeah, as I say, if VMware Horizon is used, then
I'm a big fan of
all
weird
internal,
vapors.
Yeah.
and they can jump across quite happily without a problem. And I was able to access it, like you, I was able to access it on the phone.
Right, so it's a firewall thing, isn't
It must be.
From
Does anyone know how to use it? Oh, there we go.
Flavoured tea.
yeah, because I think
Decaf.
yeah, when I do it from home as well, it's okay.
Yeah. So VMware,
Traditional slash decaf tea?
the only
What
option,
am I
only alternative.
Offering decaf tea.
Let's
opportunity
move
to
in,
use,
couple of us smoothie. And some juicy water.
which not only gives
Heavy
them
on.
access to Moodle, but also
Very nice.
everything that they would expect to access whilst they're on.
I thrown together a PowerPoint. Very sorry to Imogen, whose time I took up by doing my PowerPoint, but
Fine.
it does have fun
I mean, I've lost all respect for you, Jack, but it's fine.
I would actually like to thank
That
you
looks
because I forgot to
amazing.
do this analysis now.
Can I
Oh,
rip that?
shit.
There you go.
How do we do a SWOT analysis? I was going to say,
I mean,
I can't do a SWOT analysis as a charitable,
I
as
didn't
like a
do
charity
one.
thing.
I didn't do one.
I can, but it's a lot harder.
I basically just took all the stuff I had from my Word document and put it in PowerPoint.
Should I?
Oh
Yeah,
my
thanks.
God.
You know that from
Yeah.
other places it's going all right. I don't.
and I failed trees.
Oh my
I
god.
wanted to print it so I could have the notes, but it wouldn't let me print, so.
No.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
That's another thing that.
I love that text,
You are
do not
aware
like
you
that.
won't get as grilled as I was.
Hey ho.
Yeah, but I was helping you, so if you're going to help me, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't grilling you, I was helping you.
What links are you on about? The Tiger or the
Well, I'll tell you in a
That's
moment.
not clear.
It's not clear in the opening
No,
page.
it's good. You know, this kind of feedback stuff is to make sure that we are actually bulletproof with our proposals. So the more kind of critical feedback that we can get, the better we are prepared for it. You know, so this is ungraded for that particular purpose. You know, that we can actually be, you know, absolutely brutal about it.
Yeah, sorry for taking up your time. I've done it now.
Cool.
Right. So yeah, I am marketing Lynx Tigers now, Jacob. This is my marketing proposal for Lynx. So who are Lynx? Well, Lynx were established in 1983 in France and were originally known as Axe, which they still are today, other than in the UK, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand and China. Lynx are owned by Unilever, who have owned the company since the beginning, and they commonly sell deodorants, body washes and other toiletries, but the main product I'll be looking at is Lynx Unity. Target audiences. So Lynx have always been aimed at a young male demographic. This is evident in past advertising campaigns launched by Lynx, which have received a lot of negative feedback for sexism. I aim to change the current audience from males of the age of 16 to 32 to males and females of the age of 16 and 32. Profiling customers and competitors. Customers are usually between the ages of 16 and 32 and commonly male. Lynx is very common amongst younger people, which could be down to the false image the adverts show of Lynx making you irresistible, which is not the case. I aim to change this so the customer profile will be wide-ranging and not just for men of a younger age. Competitor profile. I'm not entirely sure if I've done this correctly, but it's anyone who makes similar products, so Sure, Gillette, anyone like that. Price comparisons are obviously very key, whilst ensuring the market of Lynx rules over every other company. And obviously I'll have to keep an eye on new brands and new products coming through the market. I think I've done that wrong. Marketing objectives and smart targets. My smart targets are to increase 10% within a month of people engaging online using the hashtag for everyone. And my other target, which I talked about already, is adjusting the target audience, not just to men, but to women as well. Yeah, I've written the same thing twice, I don't know why I've done that. I think I've also done this bit wrong. My marketing strategy is to basically change the idea some people may have of Lynx, the negative image, and paint a more positive image.
Thank you.
I'm going to be doing that in the 3 videos that I aim to create, which I'd like to talk about now. Yeah. What will I do to market the product Lynx Unity? I'll be making a 360 video of a sporting event, which I hope will be a park run in the local area, probably Castle Park. And this will be in connection with the social media advert that I launch. I'd also like to put an advert on the television which won't be relating to the park run, but it will be a wide range of people using the product, just to kind of convey that anyone can use it. That's what it is, it's for everyone, and I want that to be revealed. And obviously the social media advert, as I said, will be in connection with the 360 video, and this will be detailing the park running event and calling on people to sign up and share the times in which they complete the race in, and with the hashtag for everyone. Action steps, I've done quite a few there. I think I've also done this bit wrong, but I'll check that. I hope to create a no budget version of the videos to be able to get funding for the campaign to actually go ahead. And then if I do get the funding, I'll be looking at how much I have available to divide evenly among the campaigns that I'm doing. I will check. Hang on a second. Yeah, when I film the actual videos, I will be watching them back and getting reviews from people to see if they do advertise the product as I hoped. obviously any feedback I get, if it's negative or even positive, you know, that will go into reworking the campaign as quickly as possible, so we don't have a big problem, we don't leave a gap in the market, and that we keep launching this product and we keep promoting that it's a good product and people should buy it. I will be launching videos out on all possible platforms. This is YouTube, websites on the sides, you know, like little sidebar adverts. I'm not entirely sure what they're called. On the television, as I said, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere possible. Hopefully they can go. I'll be regularly checking engagement for the For Everyone hashtag. Yeah, regularly check comments on social media to see people's perceptions of the campaign. Is it negative or positive? A lot of people, if they do complain about something, they will go on social media, and 9 times out of 10 more people will complain as well, which can be bad. Any criticisms early on I will deal with. After a month, I'll check my goals have been achieved, if I have increased the 10% engagement on social media or not. If I haven't, I need to figure out why and what I can do better to make that happen. If I have, I need to set newer and higher targets. And then I need to look at new ideas. What are other brands doing? What's working for them? What's not working for them? And figure out what I can do to continue promoting this product. And yeah, check sales figures of a Lynx Unity and see how they compare to previous months before I launched the campaign. I think that's it. Any more questions?
So how are you going to do a VR video for Lynx?
It's not a VR video, it's a 360
It's a
video.
video, sorry, for Lynx.
Well, you're the 360 camera.
Yeah, but what are you filming?
The sporting event.
Yeah, okay, but how are you going to, you're filming a sporting event, which I get, and that's fine, and that's great, but how are you going to incorporate Lynx into that?
It's a Lynx sponsored event. Lynx are
Have they agreed to
doing
sponsor
the
it?
event. They have not, no.
Well, what happens if they don't agree to sponsor it? You're just going to...
Well, for the benefit of it, that there are people currently in discussions with Lynx to get it happening.
Are there?
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay.
My team of marketing people are currently working.
Yeah, so for the question
On it.
that's fine. So it would be that particular event that would be, and who would be the audience for that VR or 360 video? Sorry.
I'm not really sure really. I just thought it'd kind of be a nice idea because I've seen a few things on YouTube, different sporting events in 360, and they look pretty good to watch. So yeah, the younger audience that I've gone with, I think, would be quite intrigued by it. But I guess mainly more sporting people might be interested in actually watching it.
I have 2 questions. First of all, did you learn that Lynx doesn't make you irresistible the hard way? Second,
that's
second,
cool.
That's savage.
how do you aim to get more women to actually want your product, and how are you going to monitor that?
Sorry, what was the second question?
How do you aim to get more women to want to actually buy your product, and how will you sort of like measure the success of that sort of goal?
Through social media engagements.
But just because someone's engaging with something, if they're not actually buying your product, does that really make them part of your, actually part of your target market?
I didn't talk about it too much, but on that last page there was something about checking sales figures, so you should be able to do it from that as well, figure out who's buying the product.
But how are you going to know who's buying it?
One of the things, what is always difficult is unless you've got female-owned or female-targeted products, you can't really figure out
You're not
who's
gonna-
buying
unless you
your
ask
product,
them
whether
their
it's
gender
male or
at
female
the
demographic.
checkout.
If your actual product is a kind of unisex product, there's no way of actually figuring that out. So I think it's not wrong in that sense to kind of look. I mean, remind me, what was your smart target? Because if your smart target is about generally just selling more products, that's
No,
one thing. But if it's more about changing brand perception,
Yeah, that was. for.
then that is something that is going to be easier for you to address in terms of measurable outcomes, and but then also you need to be quite specific about that in the way that you're addressing it. So just a 360 video, yes, the use of the hashtag for everyone, but it needs to build in some relevance, and it needs to build some new narrative about that it's for everyone. So if you're doing a sports event in a 360 thing, is your for everyone kind of moment the fact that we are viewing it from the point of view of different kind of athletes, so from a female athlete's perspective, or from a kind of male Muslim perspective, or from a disabled person's perspective. Again, that could be the power of 360, that you can view things from a particular person's point of view, and maybe that might make a stronger proposition to push forward the for everyone hashtag, if that is your key measuring objective, maybe. So I've just thrown things at you, but it was just because it seemed a bit disconnected. That I remember that you had in your smart target the kind of selling more of that product, but then you had the for everyone, but then none of the actions that you specified seemed to directly address any of those goals.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. It was kind of like shooting in between.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So maybe that, just suggesting things that could help you be much more targeted at either one outcome or the other outcome in some ways. I don't know, I mean, maybe there are some other kind of suggestions of how, because it seems like the hashtag is the more important thing, which is part of this culture change. And you talked a lot about the former target audience and how you want to develop a new target audience. So maybe it's less about flogging a product, but actually, let's go at it step by step. Let's change the kind of audience that.
Yeah, that's what the idea is. Yeah.
So you were inhaling.
Yeah, I had a kind of silly idea, but you get like the clothes, like the sort of like furniture, not furniture, like bed linen, sort of like washing adverts, like washing detergent for clothes and fabrics, fabric detergent, I don't know. Like, you get those adverts where people are like lying on a bed and they're like, oh, this was washed a week ago, and they're like, whoa. Like maybe you could do sort of like a thing with like random members of the public, like irrespective of like age, gender, whatever, sort of like race, and get them to smell it and be like, they'll be like, oh, and you be like, yeah, this is for everyone. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
I
That's really wild.
I thought you were gonna say something like, "Smell that person. He washed last week."
Yeah.
No, that would be an anti-advert.
You can find plenty of people.
Just don't do what they did, where they did the entire advert and kept calling it a bedgasm.
Oh.
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah,
I remember that advert very clearly.
Oh,
because
no,
of
I remember
bedgasm.
I remember that.
Is this relating to my links?
Don't do what I did.
I'm
last
telling
week.
you not to do that. That is related. Do not do that thing. Do not call it a smellgasm.
No spellgasms, okay. Okay.
But yeah, I mean that idea was interesting again as a kind of more,
Any more questions?
interactive kind of thing. Can you just briefly summarize what was the media mix that you were proposing? So there was the 360,
There was a 360
of the
camera, which was going to be in connection with the social media advertisement. Social media was going to involve people with getting involved in the event and posting the time in which they complete the race in.
Yeah.
With the hashtag for everyone.
I see. Yeah.
And then obviously the 360 video was kind of going to be of the actual event itself. And then there's a television advertising the product for everyone, just generic people using the product. Everyday people, everyday life, just using the product.
Okay, so
Simple
you
as that.
have a series of videos for
Very simple as that, yeah.
Okay.
Just a normal kind of advert, really.
Okay. Good. Any other kind of suggestions? So in terms of action points, what I would suggest is narrow your scope for your SMART target. Okay, so again, be specific that it is just about that one thing, and then see if I think you will need to tweak just the way what your video outcomes are going to be, to exactly just serve that specific target.
Yeah,
Okay, it's
I
about
mean
that.
the 360 one was kind of an idea I threw in. It might not be a go-ahead thing.
Well, no, I think it's perfectly good, but I think it just needs tweaking so that it
Yeah.
serves that hashtag or the promotion of that
Yeah.
hashtag. I think that it doesn't need scrapping. I think it needs tweaking for that. Cool. Alrighty. Shall we take a little break?
Yeah.
Okay. So well done, by the way. Alrighty.
Yes, Jack, I love you.
Love
Cool.
you too.
Can you send me the file as well, please?
Yeah.
Or copy it over.
I didn't even eject it. That's my bad.
That's all right.
Oops.
So just need to check here on these
Interesting.
bits. Oh yeah.
Would you mind letting? Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna pop it on the desktop. I'm a total
Will
genius.
you pop me on your desktop?
Oh yes, boy. Oh yes. I'd love to do that.
I'm just going to be eternally sick now.
I'm so hungry now, Sean.
What the
Eat
fuck,
yourself.
Well, we're on a quick break. Do you want to go down and get something?
No, because we're going to go to the bagel place at lunch.
Oh.
Have you seen that they're opening a kimchi or Korean restaurant, which literally is KK Korean?
So what?
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
That was.
K
Korean. So, and
It's called the Kimchi Kingdom, so I think it's Korean Kimchi Kingdom or something.
okay, but it's still.
But its acronyms are still KKK,
Yeah.
TKK.
KKK, TKK.
Technical Ku Klux Klan.
The more. Oh please, dear God, tell me they don't wear white uniforms.
I went through the comments on Facebook and I pissed myself laughing.
Yeah.
The KKK.
That's literally what it is. That's what it looks like.
The KKK
Oh
social
my God, they
media.
even got it dot. Oh no.
The KKK isn't dot
I
dot.
can
No, I mean they've got the dot. I mean, yeah, but when you think of the logo for the KKK, you think K dot K dot K, don't you?
No,
Well, that's
I
right.
see KKK, not K dot K dot K.
Yeah, but it stands for Ku Klux Klan.
I need
Yeah,
food, but I
which
think I'm
is
gonna wait
just-
till I get
It's
home.
an acronym.
No, it's just a name.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, but
the
you
Ku Klux
don't-
Klan's a
Yeah.
name,
Yeah.
but the KKK is an
I've got
acronym for
mine.
Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah, but
I
you see
might
there's
go
not dot between it.
At 12, maybe.
Oh, that's
Well,
me.
we're on
Actually-
break now. It's-
Yeah, let's go.
It's not whether or not you
You
go
come
at 12.
and say.
We're on a break. Yeah, let me just
Okay.
do
Gotta
something.
give back the love that I gave you. Gets to the
I
point where I
love
want
and I hate you and I
Cats
cannot change you, so I must
and
have
Oh, is there a thing? There's a thing. There's a
It
thing.
gets-
There's an Electabuzz.
How many
No,
hours
it's
on
just
Roblox
Dragon
did you
Man.
clock up, Imogen?
No,
But they're
I
not
didn't
saying
play it,
it's
my sister
The-
did.
yeah.
And back to you, and back to
I
me.
think I played it about 10 minutes in my whole life.
Oh, me and my cousin used to play it, and it
Why
was
am I
actually
not
quite
getting any
fun.
more Pokestop like research?
It was really badly made, but it was fun. You know what I
That's probably
mean?
why.
Chicken nuggets.
What, my phone's about to
I
die.
might go
Your
and grab
phone's
like
about.
some
Oh shit, there's so much good stuff here.
Come on, Imogen. Sorry,
Come on.
sorry.
Please stop calling me that fucking name. I
Why am I getting out my purse when I want to get out my charger?
Tom,
I don't know why
coming
you
back
get out
after
the person you want to get out
Christmas
your
break. Don't worry about it.
I'll probably joke.
Ah, my legs, they're fucked. Ah.
Oh, you coming? Or are you?
Put my phone charging and I'll be down.
Oh, you actually coming down?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll wait for you then.
Need to do the exercise.
I'll come down as well. I want something to eat.
Also, I need to give my fucking mind a break.
Plus, I finished that. In fact, there wasn't much left to do anyway.
I'm working on
And
it.
I'm very sorry for doing it halfway through your thing, Albert.
I apologise as well, but I have been doing this.
really stupidly over the top creative with mine.
Not
As
gonna
usual.
lie.
Doesn't excuse you.
Oh.
You should listen to me.
Well, fuck you. Please be good. Please be good.
Elliot, I'm gonna break your heart.
Oh, it's not that good.
Elliot, I'm gonna break your heart.
Fuck you.
What?
She's got a shiny one.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
My big sister Teresa.
I like
Would
you say
you-
big sister as in.
Would you be willing to
As
trade
if
it
you
with
have-
me?
As if I have another sibling.
As if I
But
have
no,
like
she's my
multiple
big sister.
sisters.
No, she's big sister.
Would you be willing to trade it with me?
No.
No, because you can't trade Pokemon.
Suck it!
So that's hard.
Well, there's the thing I was looking for. I need to find it. Is this one? Edit.
You tosser.
What did I do?
Close the door on Tom.
How would you feel if someone done that to a member of your family?
Are you really that out of breath, Tom?
I've got one now.
True.
I'll be alright in 15 years.
Look, I'm the worst person for food, aren't I?
Why?
Goes to get a tiny snack and ends up fucking reserving a Christmas dinner for the following day. It was in the music video to it.
What?
Lucid Dreams. He's just in sand, I think, for a whole bit. I'm gonna watch it now. But it starts with him smoking. That's what it does.
I guess you can say Juice WRLD for only ran out of juice.
Oh no, his head's stuck in a carpet.
What?
No, seriously, look. What is... What am I watching?
Someone's dead now.
Not too loud.
Can't even hear it.
No, you don't need to hear it. You just watch the video. I'm talking to Tom.
That's right. Apologise to Elliot.
I don't apologise to anyone.
What?
What the fuck are we watching? I suppose this is a form of art though, isn't it, really?
Do you reckon Michaela's going to cook Christmas dinner?
Why have you got a giraffe neck?
Oh, I'm so unfit. Need to go back to the gym in December.
That Juice WRLD was a weird, had a weird music video.
When are you making your return to the gym, Jack?
Never.
Have you cancelled it?
Yes. I've officially withdrawn my application to work to be at the gym.
When did you do that?
Like a few days ago. Drugs and guns found on Juice WRLD's jet, police say.
Well, if he is escaping to the Bahamas, is it illegal to fake your own death?
Additional studies
Yes.
include cardiac pathology, neuropathology, toxicology and histology.
It's illegal if you're doing it for insurance purposes. That's fraud. No, kind of a bad thing.
They found 41 vacuum sealed bags of marijuana, 6 bottles of prescription codeine cough syrup, 2 9mm pistols, a 40 caliber pistol and a high capacity ammunition magazine.
I like
and
how
metal
in
piercing
the
bullets.
in the drugs that they found there is cough syrup.
Oh yeah. Still gonna be a drug.
2 men identified by police as Juice WRLD security guards have also been charged with possessing guns and ammunition.
Well,
Do you reckon he was going to kill someone, but they got to him before?
No.
No, he got checked because they had reason to believe he had guns. I reckon they had. I think he took something on the plane. That's what they're saying. That led to his seizure, and then he had a heart attack. He must have had his impact on the music though, because he's got a few big people writing things about him. Drake, Ellie Goulding, Snoop Dogg.
Me was gonna wait till later to read this, but now we've got
Ellie Goulding. What
Do you get both? I can't know.
fuck was wrong with his teeth?
Joe Swinson.
No, bad teeth. Joe Swinson.
The last 2 days, I've had mail addressed to me and they've both been from fucking Labour.
Fans subsequently
I
pointed
bought from
out
Bernard
Higgins
Jenkins and I was
predicted
like,
his
fuck
death.
off, pal.
I've had something from my mum and me. And it's a letter from Boris Johnson. I went, you know what, I'm ignoring this bullshit, I can't be
What's
arsed.
this at 27 club? We ain't making it past 21. They tell me I'm gonna be a legend. I don't want that title now because all legends seem to die out. Fair enough. I don't think that's really predicting his death. He's just said that legends die, which basically they do.
I might message Sadie9.
Who?
Sadie9.
Who's that?
She's a morning breakfast.
You have a fall and you sort of pull that hurt, and it really hurts, and
I've
you're
read
not doing
everything.
everything, and it's just a
Yeah, I keep
fall
getting
of
fucking mail
railing,
from different parties.
I'm getting really sick of it because I'm not sure
ambulance
I'm going
had
to
to do
vote
an
for him.
emergency stop, which
I might vote for myself. I might vote for
get to
myself.
hospital, then
Could I vote for
sent
myself?
to ribs
Is that
and
the
to
problem?
ribs,
Green Party won't get
and
in
you're actually thinking, you know what?
I'm still gonna vote for the Green Party,
Really,
Green Party alone.
hurts and I was having morphine
Yeah, but
and
If
everything.
Green Party, I also find that I haven't found
It's going to
anyone
be
who's
Boris or
cracked.
Corbyn. It's not going to be anyone else, I don't think.
I disagree with the Green Party's current, like,
Because if you think about it that way, then yeah, no one else is going to get in because there was just like, oh, and it's one of those two, and you'll never get a third party.
No, it's terrible, really, isn't it?
currently I don't like the Green Party because of, like, the whole standpoint on meat eating.
I was kind of
What was their standpoint on meat
more
eating?
They're trying to make
towards.
everyone a fucking vegan.
I was towards
I literally
Labour
thought-
until
I literally read that.
Corbyn's comments
Can't
last
John,
week.
fake news.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
know
gonna vote.
that. But I've also heard
You
it from
gonna vote,
other
Jack?
people.
Well, I was going to vote Labour, but Corbyn's comments have sort of sparked a bit of controversy. So
What is it now?
Jeremy Corbyn is a fucking lunatic, but
In fairness, so is Boris Johnson.
so is Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson literally published a book in which he referred to one of his fictional characters using the N-word multiple times. And this was only a couple of years ago.
I had out such hope for politics.
So should he not be? He should not be picked
Alive.
because
But I swear Diane Abbott said, like, in the early 2000s that we should assume all white people are racist.
Boris Johnson.
Diane Abbott's a fucking bitch!
But she did say that, though.
Don't listen to anything she says anyway.
No, but
she's
surely
an
isn't
arsehole.
that, like,
I'm
obviously
pretty sure
it's
she's
different, but
racist
isn't,
as well.
you can't say that as much. Because it's
Well,
an
no,
ab-
but there's nothing technically. You're saying you should assume something, whereas Boris Johnson is using racial slurs against someone.
But have you heard about this this letter that's been leaked or something?
No.
That apparently is going to be published after the election. It's obviously damaging someone's reputation, isn't it?
What's the point of releasing it after the election, then?
Because then nothing
Because
can
whoever
come
is
of it.
damaging gets in, and then they can go, ah, jokes on
The
you.
thing is, though, let's face it, the country will be worse under Corbyn and Johnson, no matter how you feel about their policies.
Also, Diane Abbott supported the IRA.
Yeah, that's not a good thing to do.
My teeth are so sensitive, so that's
What was the letter supposedly
Oh, that
saying?
really-
The one
Huh?
that-
It's about Boris
that-
Johnson.
Isn't it something about the NHS being sold or something?
No,
No.
It's
don't-
not gonna get
don't
sold.
listen to that.
Don't listen to that, that's crap.
That isn't
The
going to
NHS
happen.
is not getting sold.
I just said it's not
London
gonna
would
happen.
burn
Yeah, I'm agreeing
down
with
from
you.
So
riots.
this girl wants to
Don't
stop
word-
Brexit.
Don't word things like that. and,
Liberal
don't
Democrats want to
use an
stop
aggressive
Brexit.
tone with me.
The
Independent Group for Change want to do it again.
Do what again?
They want to do another referendum.
Yeah, but why
Campaign.
the thing is though,
If they vote to leave again, well, they want another one and another one until they get rid
no.
of it.
Yeah, that's the point.
No,
I
presumably
don't
they'll
think
only do
people
it
should have
once.
been allowed to vote on Brexit until we
Like
had a deal and everything negotiated.
Have like options of what Brexit would be.
UKIP are basically fucking up already. Leave the EU with no deal. Okay, yeah.
My
You don't
honest
count anymore.
opinion on Labour is that I don't trust them because as much as they say they're only going to tax the top 5%, they fuck people like my parents.
And mine.
My dad is self-employed and my mum is a fucking civil servant. I've had more pay rises than her working at McDonald's, and I earn nearly as much as she does.
But that's because you work for a big corporation.
I work for a privatised company.
Didn't someone say something along the lines of, didn't a load of Corbyn's policies get told that they can't actually happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're unfeasible. I'm sorry, but he's said, oh yeah, we're going to do this, this and this with the university fees, when A, they fucking brought them in.
And Iraq, why does no one remember that they took us
Labour
to
did
Iraq?
bring in some
They did
tuition
take us to
fees,
Iraq.
but the tuition fees didn't rise until the Cameron-Clegg coalition.
They reckon that they're going to introduce free full fibre broadband for every home business. by
That is dumb.
2020.
That is fucking bullshit.
But
£10 an hour.
That
I would
was not
take
happen.
that. To
I
be
do not support Jeremy Corbyn whatsoever. However,
I don't support any of
do
them.
you really want a party that's just happy to sit where we are with like the amount of shit that goes on? Or do you like kind of like I don't Jeremy Corbyn's ideas are completely unfeasible.
I don't like any of them. I don't like Labour, I don't like Conservatives, I don't like
But
Green,
he's
I
like,
don't
he
Lib
just
Dems.
sits, like Boris Johnson will just sit there and be like, yeah, it's chill, I'm alright. Like, also, he's a major fucking racist.
Who?
Like, Boris Johnson is a major racist. They found that thing in his book literally a few days ago, and he literally said anyone who is racist in this party is out. Okay, do what you say then, Boris.
What was the book called?
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I will
Just
find
search
it.
for
So who are you voting for?
But-
Or are you not?
She's gonna vote. For what?
There's an
You were
independent
literally-
dude in my area, and he's like, I'm not going to promise you anything. I was
I'm gonna
like,
just
okay,
try.
Okay. Alright.
I mean, one of the good quotes that I've heard with regards to voting and the state of current politics is actually to regard vote or an election or a party more like a that you're voting for as as public transport. You might not like it, but you choose the one that gets you
Yeah.
to your destination. So
The issue
if you
is,
yes.
with where I live in Colchester, my current representative is Will Quince, and I as a person like him.
Me too.
I just don't like the party
Yeah.
and the Prime Minister.
Yeah, but you can't
particularly.
vote for him just because you like him. You have to,
I
you have
think
to vote for what you
Well,
really
no,
like.
there's a duality, isn't there, between
You can't vote for
local
can't vote for
representation
liking, that's not
and
who you vote
who you want to kind of help, kind of nationally. I mean that's a balance that people need to kind of strike for themselves. Whether you're more interested at that your local representative is a good local representative, because a good local MP can achieve a lot, even if their party is not in government.
He's definitely helped.
But
my
at the
family out
same
a lot.
time, you've got all of this thing with, obviously the national politics, and especially where in the House of Parliament the arithmetics are quite tight
Where were they
for
from,
everything.
sorry, do you think?
So in a way,
Swap intuition.
any change of MP doesn't matter a lot. Plus, also throw into the arithmetics also the more tactical bit of voting that goes on. So one of the things that you can do if you want a particular outcome in terms of national policy and so on, you can also contemplate that if you felt like, okay, well, I think these political ideas are most represented by this and this and this range of parties. I will vote for this one that I would never vote for typically, but it gets that result. I mean, you've got to inform yourself about what were the election results beforehand. Like in your case, was Will Quince a marginal one, or is he kind of? So it's a
He was the biggest. He was like he had the biggest portion of the vote.
Okay, yeah.
In
So,
our
Ross
culture.
so is it a conservative
it all
safe
up.
seat in a sense?
Yeah, we're conservative safe round here.
Yeah.
Although I'm not too
Or
sure
my
about that
address.
because
my
Because you're
constituency.
CO4, aren't you? You're the same area as me.
you're the same constituency, you're Colchester. But I mean, to be fair, Will Quince hasn't held that seat for that long.
Yeah.
It was a very Lib Dem stronghold. for
And
a
That's
long
never
time
going to happen
after
again.
that.
though, let's
It
face it.
doesn't help that the Bob Russell then turned into a maniacal piece of shit.
Hey, he's a tour guide now. He does tours of Colchester.
Yeah, but he's the bitter piece of old man. Just because he didn't get back in.
My sister also had to chase a mouse around his office.
I feel that myself.
My sister did work experience with him because she used to want to go into politics. And
Your sister must hate herself.
no. Oh, she got a master's back, her dissertation for a master's.
And then what'd you get for it?
85. Fucking dickhead. How am I meant to measure up?
Mikey. Yeah.
Christ.
Overbearing siblings.
My sister got a 2-1 and my parents are just trying to pin me down to that.
No, my sister got a first in her undergrad and then...
My sister got a 2-1 in her undergrad, a 2-1 in her masters.
She's a monster.
And now she's
my
doing
sister.
PGCE.
She's just an absolute monster.
Oh no, don't worry. My sister actually got to see it my parents' life for the first time with me and my degree.
Have you called her a monster?
Yes, I call most people
So-
a monster.
True.
So just quickly, who is people voting for?
I'm
I
not
don't
sure.
care
I'm
who you like.
undecided.
Right, I'm going to say this,
As of this moment.
and come what may,
Yeah,
I'm going to
I'm
have to
sure.
vote Boris Johnson
Do it
Yeah, but are
with
you voting
Johnson.
Boris Johnson for Boris Johnson or are you voting
for the policies. For the policies. I think Brexit needs to be done, for better, for worse.
I mean, I did just look at the Conservative manifesto and it does seem to be
And one thing that I did like,
better.
people like me, every year, have to be like done for their disabilities. Under the Conservatives, for lifetime conditions, you're not going to get done over and over again if it's clear that your conditions won't change. And it can be very stressful for people to keep being put
But at the
through
same
these
point, there's
assessments.
someone who I know who is literally bedridden because of an operation they had years and years ago, and they just keep slashing her benefits.
But-
Because apparently she's fit to work when she can barely get out of
I'd
bed.
like to know where Labour think they're getting the money from. for all
Mate,
of this
so
shit.
do I. I want to see what money tree they planted in the back garden of number 10,
They
because I
reckon
want
free
some of it.
prescriptions. They're going to end homelessness
Okay,
in
you do
5
get
years.
free prescriptions to an extent.
Free
I don't.
prescriptions, free
It-
dental
no, but
I
it's
appointments.
have,
because
to,
you're not-
I have to pay £9 a month just not to be a depressed, anxious mess.
I mean, same.
Elliot, can I move it so I can
On that
see?
note,
But I don't know what I'm voting
I'm
for.
saying that.
Well, this is my seat.
on that
Oh,
note,
yeah, you-
so
yeah.
by the way, so this is all really good discussions generally, and even if you are totally unsure about who to vote, and if you want to.
Just
it's-
vote.
Just vote, even if you're spoiling your ballot.
gonna say,
Just
is it-
vote.
is it
Be
better to-
counted. Be
Can I
counted.
literally just write in it? I think they're all a knob. See you later.
Absolutely, you're spoiling your ballots that way, and that gets counted.
They have
Because
that
what,
in
what,
the
do- what
European
doesn't get
election.
counted is people who don't turn up. But
Yeah.
people spoiling their ballot can be a form of protest vote and will be seen as such as well,
I might
which is
sit
important
in,
if you
like,
wanted to
the
do
booth
that.
For like
You're going to
20
vote,
minutes.
Julian.
I can't. I'm not allowed to vote for a
you're
general
not a
election.
citizen.
I'm not British enough, apparently.
I swear, like, if you like do some exam, it make you.
Yeah, I can pay £1,500 to kind of
That's
get
nice.
citizenship.
Just be active on the internet.
Trust
The
me.
Oh,
apps.
trust me, I am.
Yeah, but you have to live here and you have to go through the same conditions as everyone else. So why shouldn't you be allowed to vote?
Right though?
Why shouldn't you be allowed to vote? Because you have to go through the same conditions as everyone
Yeah,
else
but think
does.
about it. If you were to go to a foreign country, you have to live, especially with America.
Mm.
With America, you got to get the green card, and even then, you got to spend 5 to 10 years in the country,
Sorry.
Yeah, but then you do
and
get
then you've
like,
got to do the citizenship test on top of that.
I
Yeah,
mean,
you
you
shouldn't
have to
have
do
to.
the British
You have to.
citizenship test here as well. And to be fair, the British citizenship test
I
is
passed the German one, not the British one.
The biggest piece of shit. Like I've grown up in Britain. I don't know any of this bullshit.
Literally.
See you later.
What, do you have to do it?
No, you don't.
No, you're
you
born
only have to do
also.
it
If you're
want
born British,
citizenship.
If
You
you're
can
born
look it up,
British,
though. You
you're
can
a
look it up and have a
you
look
can do
at
it. You can do
It is
a
quite
test one
easy.
Well, I
online.
certainly passed my British values test.
Hey.
Did you actually
Did
do
you
it?
all have to do it?
No.
No, 'cause we're- this
I
is
think
gonna
it was
s-
Effie who
It's 'cause we're
like
born
they
and
forced
bred
every
white
single student
British.
last year to do the British values
I
thing.
don't.
It was
I don't
hilarious.
like that.
No,
like,
I'm not a fan of that either.
British value
that's
sense is
gross.
bullshit.
British
Like,
citizen.
why is
Isn't it
it
just
British
have
value?
Well,
Why is it not
especially I
human
find
value?
it quite
Have a cup of
conceited
tea
when
and
you
just
think
go
about
arguably
that.
our-
Obviously, they're saying, well, British values are democratic values.
Okay,
and
I'm
you
sorry,
think,
I
yeah,
forgot that
that's
was the
fine,
West
but-
Country version.
But the problem is
Arguably
that
our-
Britain is also laden with such a history of colonialism, racism,
Yeah.
and all of those things that actually British value has got a negative connotation in comparison to some other countries. So calling
Yeah.
something British values and then saying that this is the pinnacle of democracy ain't quite flying it for me as a
At least we
It's the
still have
pinnacle
the
of something.
Commonwealth.
The pinnacle of something.
I'm not taking that test seriously. I've seen the
Also, I just think
question.
it's
What
really
was it?
condescending to be like, yeah,
What are your
this is
responsibilities
what
as a British
British
citizen?
people
Go to
believe
church
and
on
be like,
Sundays,
yeah, we're
walk
so
to a
much,
dog
look at us,
only
we've
in
got
the
our own
day.
set of
Seriously, that's
values
obey
and
the
like,
law.
we're so much
Seriously,
better
that's
than
something.
everyone. No,
that's
go
something
away.
you can
like-
get. It's not like you write down. It's A,
I
B,
find
C,
it
D.
problematic, but
It's like a
people
theory
are trying to
test.
whatnot.
I genuinely believe that we should just do the British citizenship test and see if we get kicked out.
No.
Because I know for
If you want,
fact
if you
there
want,
will be.
I mean, first, there's 3 of you that need to do your thingies. But
Yeah,
secondly,
no,
if
no.
you want to do a little
I'm-
quiz today, you need to do the I side with thing to see where you line up with policies.
I
to
bet I
see
did it last
whether-
time round and I got
Where's that?
Conservatives.
Yeah, but policies change.
Where's that? Because
Yeah.
I
So-
think I'm Labour, but I'm not
But
sure.
don't do it
It
now because
literally
we've got
is-
something to do.
Yeah.
I side with, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's a
you're
new
on
one,
the
right? Okay, it used to be like
UK
vote for
dot
policies, not for
iside
parties,
with
but what is it?
Yeah, no,
I
I'm on
side
the
with.
American one.
I side with. Okay.
Yeah, I'm on the American one. Help.
I did a
Outside
political
UK.
alignment
And
one
if
and I
you-
was Conservative Lib Dem, which
if you've
confused
got
me.
time, you need to do all
Why
as
are you
many of the
not doing
questions
it?
as possible.
I
That's
came
how
up
it
with
works.
UKIP.
Is it political party quiz? Is that it?
No,
We'll
it's
have a
policy
look
based.
later.
Jack, it's literally I side with, but it's uk.isidewith.com.
Yeah, I'm on it now. I was on the American
And it's
one.
just take quiz.
Aside from that, let's not take away from the fact that people are still ready for their presentation. So
I would much rather do
who's-
mine tomorrow, just because I can get it properly finished. And I will do it first thing in the morning when I eventually roll in.
Well, we're doing the interviews in the morning, so that's the interim employment bit. So we could
Do it in the afternoon?
roll that into the afternoon session
Yeah.
with.
So I have to dress like a proper adult tomorrow. is that
No,
Julia?
no,
Okay,
because it's
fine.
not going to be.
I'm not going to be in the morning.
I, I remember you saying that. Yeah, sorry I didn't respond to you.
Yeah,
but
no.
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me know. Alrighty,
Well, I might be in towards the end, but not at the start.
cool. That'd be good. Elliot,
Yes.
were you gonna?
Yes, I do have it. I didn't know if Kaden wanted to go first.
No, I put it
Okay.
tomorrow, so I haven't got anything.
Okay, that's fine.
I did until like 2 minutes ago when Adobe crashed.
That's
So
fine.
I'm trying again.
Why did warp
Oh,
stabilizing
ah.
take so long?
Oh no,
Because warp stabilizing is
Shit,
terrible, don't use it.
I'm not even
How
sure
do you
if
say
something's
it's
gone wrong. Shit.
You
Shit.
go manually because
Well,
warp
Shit,
stabilizing
something's gone
is
wrong.
terrible.
Something's
How
really
do you-
gone
how do
wrong.
you manually
I'm not even
stabilise?
joking.
You
Shit.
literally go through and keep
like
thing
for me.
readjust.
Well, I honestly can't get out.
Warp
I'm
stabilizing
not joking,
sucks.
Jack. I seriously, something's gone actually horribly wrong.
What's it doing?
I don't know. Something's really gone wrong with my muscle because
You probably just got cramp or you've overstretched it.
I lifted my leg over the wire and then something
You might just
pulled,
be.
Yeah,
and
you
I
just
can't get up
You
now.
just pulled it or
Is
cramp.
it stress?
Don't
Is it
rush
stress
it,
related?
don't rush it.
Is it stress related?
I don't know. I haven't
You've got a
been
stress
stressed
fracture.
until today.
Let's ask a
Hashtag
15 question at the same
Still
time.
You've got a
Maybe
stress
you've got the
fracture.
stress related then.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, just take your time.
Yeah, but like,
Okay,
Yes, I will
imagine.
marry you, Elliot.
no,
Like, yeah, but like,
Is it-
I'm so stressed that
Are you
like,
okay?
my ears
not.
won't
Is it
come.
pain or?
yeah, there's quite a bit of pain.
I
Yeah.
started to get period pain.
Um,
Just keep pressure off the back and just lean on the
No, I
chair.
had to put pressure on it because otherwise it hurts.
Should we do
And
something?
preemptively put.
Elliot,
Yeah?
you have to massage it.
That's what I'm trying.
I'm the worst person in the
Shall I
medical
do it?
emergency.
No, I'll do
Yeah.
it. Nobody's
Oh, I deal with cramp all the time.
Do we need to do something?
Yeah, call the doctor.
Lay on the floor. Lay on the floor. That sorts your
I'm
back
the
out.
worst
Lay
at
on the
medical
No,
floor.
emergency.
no, can't move. No, no.
Someone grab his arms, someone grab his legs, and we pull.
I will help you up.
No.
I'm having. Oh god.
Lay.
Just like that.
It actually really fucking hurts.
Are you okay?
Actually, that's better. Yeah, that's better.
Told you!
No, can't take the hand away. Can't take the hand away. No.
You've got to lay with your back flat on the floor.
I'm literally.
Are you sure? Are you sure this
Can I get?
is? Elliot, is this just stress related or are you? Is
I
this-
don't know. I just lifted my leg and there was.
Okay.
Right, I'll ask Siri.
So
What to do if your back hurts?
should we give it like a couple of minutes, and otherwise I'll get the first aider to just kind of have a look at this.
Well, it's like it might be cramp. Hang on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's why.
Jack, help me out. Jack, help me out. I think I'm alright now.
That's convenient.
You mentioned a doctor and you're alright now.
I mean, could have been a back cramp.
Yeah, I think it was like a spasm or something. Or whatever. It was really horrible.
We mentioned a doctor and he gets up.
Actually, still hurts a bit, but I'm alright.
What did I tell you, Elliot?
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Well,
I'm crying, I'm sorry.
yeah, how do I work a computer again? Alright.
It's the one that's like, I saw Elliot's face, he was going down the chair, it's just like.
Should there be more or less privatisation of hospitals?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what they mean by that. No?
I've just seen something disgusting.
Alrighty.
I see something disgusting every day.
Your face.
I see my face every day.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Can we get everybody?
This for like 2 seconds.
Are you okay?
No, I'm gonna have to have my hammer
I
like
like
this.
the Alchemist to help me figure out colours.
Ready?
No. Let's just.
That's why I can sit down for a minute.
I'll just figure out.
Oh my
Elliot,
god.
I'll be your clicker man.
No, I'm good. I'm
See how
good.
bad-
Elliot, I'm sorry for laughing at you, but
That's what I was laughing at. Well, I was laughing as well.
Well, he wasn't.
See how bad I was in the
I
crisis.
don't have to sit down. I can sit
So
down.
you
No, it's alright, but that way you can just reach it. Alrighty. Okay, let's proceed.
Okay.
Everybody.
Okay. What has been the hallmark achievement of early 21st century? Has it been an increased awareness in the environmental issues? No. Has it been the development of new sustainable energy sources? No. Has it been the increase in the new amount of medicines that is being released to help many thousands upon millions
Where
of
you going
people?
with this?
No, I'm getting somewhere. No. It has been D&D Beyond.
Okay. Alright.
The only thing I've put any effort into thinking about.
Alright.
Okay. So the product is a game assistance tool that's online, because in D&D you generate a lot of paperwork creating your character sheet, encounters with monsters, and all this sort of information that you need and require. The books alone, literally about that thick if you put them all together. So the D&D Beyond website is just a website where you can generate all that information online. It eliminates the need for paperwork, for books. You have all the information you need at your fingertips on a phone. And my smart target for advertising this is we want to increase the number of people visiting the D&D website between the ages of 16 and 25 by at least 50% within the next 6 to 12 months. So we're taking a long view at getting more people coming over in the next year. No, I was hoping to have a printout of this, but the printer wasn't working, so.
Oh, God.
So, within 6 to 12 years, we hope to see a 50% increase in the unique number of visitors, and this will help to increase the ad revenue for the website, and it will give an increase in the monetary earnings. Sorry, I'm rambling. Sorry.
No.
Already, they have over 1 million views, nearly reaching 1.5 million. We hope to increase that by an additional 50%. So far, monthly, they earn about nearly $4,000 in ad revenue, and that's on a monthly basis. If we manage to get an increase of that by 50% at least, that will raise to over $11,000 a month. If we can achieve somewhere near to this, we will know that our marketing campaign has been a success, at least. These figures will help us calculate how successful it is, what percentage of increase we have got by the ad revenue. There are also other ways we can do that, and I will get to that in a minute. That's not meant to be there. Strengths that we can expect from is that we have previous experience advertising on social media websites, so this gives us past knowledge of what people react to, what people don't react to, and what else we can do. We have also a good relationship with YouTube content creators. We advertise on several of their channels and for paid sponsorship. Examples: Critical Role, JoeCat. And we also have up-to-date software on our website, so it's easy. So as again, it's ease of access. You've got lots of people on there every day, obviously over 1 million a month, and obviously it helps if you have a usable, sustainable platform that you can go on. Weakness is that we don't really have a lot of advertising experience outside of social media and YouTube. So things like posters, bit analog, but TV, radio, we don't really have a lot of experience in that area, so that's a weakness there. We have a stable income of ad revenue. It's been pretty stable for the last 12 months. It's no predictions for it to rise or fall, so we've got a nice steady income there. Obviously, again, we have the newest, latest software for our website, so it's up to date. And currently, there are no other websites that compete on the same level as us.
that I'm aware of at least. Currently we are sort of the monopoly on the market, if you will. The only other website that comes close is the deckofmany.com, which offers animated spell cards which give information about certain aspects of D&D. Like you'll have a card that, you know those cards that if you fold in and out they do the nice little animation.
Okay.
Yeah, it's that sort of thing. It's a hard copy of those in a small form where you can just read off the information. So it is a more analog way of doing it, where we are on the website, they're doing hard, actual things you can touch. It does draw attention away from us, because it's kind of a novelty, if you will.
Okay.
Previous advertisements, there's been a fair lot on Facebook and social media, Instagram, advertising new books that have been available to download online, software updates, new characters that have been invented, it's that sort of thing, and it's all been advertised on social media, websites and YouTube. But there's also, this is where we come into where we have previously advertised with YouTube content creators, and that has gone down very successfully, and we've seen an increase of people coming into our websites as we've advertised to YouTube creators. And I actually have a small clip here we can show.
Click on this, it should. Move it across.
Let's put it like that.
No, that's the tab.
Okay, there. No.
Yeah. And that's
No, it's not that. Can you do it? I'm not doing
So if you do, you bring it here and then you need to ping it to the top of
Right,
the screen,
okay.
and then it becomes.
Okay. Is the volume on?
Yes, it will be.
First and foremost, we have two fantastic sponsors this evening. Our first, our friends, Campaign 2 from beginning to now, episode 69. Nice. Our friends at D&D Beyond. Sam.
That just hit me. D&D Beyond wants you to know that the new D&D Essentials kit is coming to Target. It includes a newly designed rulebook that onboards players by teaching them how to make characters and adventures. The box includes several codes for D&D Beyond, and they've also created a new tutorial page focused on how to onboard new players into the game that we all know and love at dndbeyond.com/essentials. The Essentials kit is available exclusively at Target until September 3rd, 2019. Now, sorry, quick announcement here, guys. As you know, my campaign...
and then it goes into a funny little skip bit, and that gets people's attention, and they remember it, and they go on the website. But they do this more or less every episode on their campaign series on their YouTube website, and this has drawn a lot of attention for D&D players who are interested in watching their stuff, and who might be interested in going on the...
Press escape.
Escape
button, top left.
Yeah, and that draws attention to people who hear about that website and then therefore hear about D&D Beyond. They also, in partnership with the same people who you just saw earlier, they did an animated trailer. For I won't show that now, but you'll see a picture. I can. I guess.
Just do the same thing. Give it another click. Drag it again.
Oh, just a side note, the people you saw earlier, they're voice actors, and they voice acted this animated trailer.
Perfect warlock, weapons and supplies, but you need a place to drop your stuff, cause you're so disorganized. You click open the webpage, you heard about a critical role, and now you're ready to get some fun in a mine shot full of no's. It's D&D Beyond, yeah, D&D.
It's like real fairy tale vibe.
D&D Beyond. You got your steps, you
And
got
get
your
real.
swords, and you got your invisible wall. It's D&D.
Power Rangers Scooby-Doo vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got Ruby.
If it just, yeah.
Yeah.
I need to carry on watching it.
Cool.
So yeah, they did a partnership, and that proved very popular. In fact, nearly 1.5 million views on that trailer alone, which is just less of their monthly visitors. So obviously that was a great success.
How old is the trailer? No?
I think it's a year old, if I remember correctly.
Just pushing past the year.
Oh no.
Marie Fredericks instead.
Hey?
Marie Fredericks.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Basically, I have 3 steps so far to my future marketing plan, and they consist of a TV advert, Instagram short video, that's meant to be videos, sorry, videos, and D&D, and a D&D character competition. Now, television, it's basically untapped by the D&D Beyond people so far, hasn't been touched with at all, and I think they're missing out on a, if not a large target audience, then at the very least a good percentage of them that we could potentially bring in to know about the website. So this is definitely a way that we could reach out to them. I do go into more detail than this is just an open thing. Instagram short videos. Instagram is a large social media networking device. It's one of the good ones out there, and it'll be a good way to advertise some of the new features, like the new campaign creation feature, where you can design new encounters in game, which is a new thing they've only just released the last couple of months. And a D&D character competition. Everybody loves competition. It's gonna draw people in, not just people who use D&D Beyond, but also people who just play the game. And those people are going to be interested, perhaps, in going onto the D&D website, especially when they find out what the prize is at the end.
Cool.
So yeah, like I say, it's a TV advert. The success of the YouTube trailer, that is how many views they got. So you know just how much. It's just over slightly the monthly visitors. So if a TV advert can get close to this, and we get the same results, that is a huge boost in the number of people that are going to be visiting that website. We're also going to post the advert on YouTube, so just so we can judge the success of it from the views and the number of likes it gets. This way we'll be able to know how successful it was when releasing it onto television. Again, like we said, we're going to do some Instagram short videos. Couple advertising the new PDF books that they have available on D&D. Couple out again advertising the new encounter creation feature that they have on there. Put that there. And that would be really helpful to like game masters who have to usually spend quite a few hours. If someone who's actually been a dungeon master before, you spend quite a lot of time planning out what you do, what you're throwing at your game group, and how you're going to do this. So that tool will actually be really good time saver, and it'll also save on a lot of paper, which will please people who want to save the environment. And then this is the one I'm actually particularly proud about. It's the D&D character competition, and the idea is that whether or not you play D&D Beyond or you just play D&D, is that you post to us your favourite D&D character that you've designed in game. You tell us about what it looks like, what race it is. Is it an elf? Is it a dwarf? Is it a wizard? Is it a cleric? You tell us all about this character, what it looks like, its background, and your best moment with that character from your current or previous campaign. And then a group of people will get together, decide which one is the best, and then you will receive a prize of a free PDF of the Player's Handbook, Monster Manual, and Dungeon Master's Guide, which are the 3 main books you need, and they will be accessible on D&D Beyond. And during this whole time, it will be promoting D&D Beyond to both old people who are currently using it and people who haven't used it yet. And this will promote not only old features but new features to people who currently use it. And we'll know if it's a success or not by the number of participants online who compete in the competition, number of views on the Instagram videos, number of views and likes on YouTube from the live action advert, and we'll also obviously see the increase in revenue from the website, and that will help us to judge how much more money we're making than we were previous, and this will tell us if the marketing campaign was a success or not. And that's the end.
Cool.
What are your questions, Jack?
What's D&D?
Right. First couple, I know what D&D is now.
Yeah.
First couple of things.
Yeah.
I don't know if I drifted off at any part of that, but did you actually mention a specific target audience?
Yes, no, I did go, at the beginning I mentioned target audience of people between the ages of 16 to 25, I believe I said.
Okay.
Between the ages of 16 and 25.
Okay. The online competition, what is
Yes.
how are you going to create something for that? So obviously, we're all creating, like, there's going to be like a media mix, isn't there?
Yeah.
You're going to have, like, you've got your Instagram videos that you're doing,
Yeah.
and your
Live action
trailer,
advert, yeah.
your little advert for the TV. But how are you going to be promoting this competition that you're doing?
Well, there'll be posts on both the D&D Beyond Facebook and all other social media accounts, advertising it to obviously their followers, and then it will get passed around as it does. And there'll be an email link where you can send the information about your character to them. And oh yeah, actually one of the other prizes I forgot to mention, one of the other prizes for the competition would be a free artwork of your character with a background of your choice. That was an idea I had.
In terms of promoting the website,
Yes.
are you just looking at promoting the website, or are you looking at getting people into the game as well? Because you're not going to get random people just going on the website.
No, we are purely promoting the website. Obviously, we hope that some people hear about D&D Beyond might think, oh, what is D&D? I've heard of that before. Maybe I'll have a look at it, and then they might get pulled in. But we are purely concentrating on people who do currently play D&D, but don't use the D&D website itself.
I think that's everything on me.
Other comments, questions, suggestions?
Do they really do that well, all that shit?
If you've got no questions, I think you're going well.
There's a couple from me.
Yeah.
So, firstly, well done. Secondly, so in terms of your actual visual outputs that you'll be creating for this, we are, as far as I understand, only talking about two different kinds.
Yes, the TV ad and the Instagram videos. Yes.
So those would be. So none of them are directly linked to the competition itself.
No, the competition will be purely Facebook. I suppose we could have an Instagram video advertising the competition. That could be an idea.
That's what I was wondering, because obviously it features quite prominently in here, and I think the idea is a good one.
Yeah.
However, what I would say, tweaking that one, is that you're missing an opportunity there by not, because you're suggesting that the prizes are people get like this artwork of their character as they've described it. Isn't there maybe, because you are creating visual content, isn't that a way, similar to the Doc Martens thing, to actually post out those winning entries, or your pictures of the winning entries, tagging the people and banking on them to reshare it? Yes.
Okay.
As
like
part
a
of
gallery
it.
or something would work really well for that.
Because you are creating image content anyways, and rather than just a person getting it, mailed in, I mean, obviously that should take place anyways, but on top of that, you could maximize by the reshareability by saying, okay, we are putting it onto our Instagram account, where obviously the people concerned, when they see it on the official D&D Beyond Instagram account, they will obviously reshare it or otherwise mention it.
Yeah.
And again, that pushes your thing further. So you might need to think about that competition aspect, how you are going to be promoting that, and that there ought to be maybe another kind of video out, because you're saying, you're posting things on Facebook and so on, but how are you going to post it on Facebook? Also, the thing is, again, similar to Imogen's, you're promoting a process, like you're asking for people to engage in a process.
Yeah.
So that needs to be, again, be absolutely idiot-proof. So you need to visually, again, we're talking young people who don't like to read stuff anyways, you need to visually engage them to understand the process so that it's absolutely clear, and that their call to action is very clear. Like once you've seen that video, that like, okay, I'm going to click on this link, I'm going to give them a description of my character, and boom, that's all I need to do. So it needs to be very straightforward for them, because if it's like a post where all that is kind of written down, people are going to read it, and it's not very engaging. Whereas if they get caught in a video that makes it very clear how to do it, you'll get much better rate of uptake.
Okay.
Secondly, you mentioned the fact that you're only advertising this to D&D players and Dungeon Masters. Is there an estimate of how many D&D players and Dungeon Masters there are here in the UK?
I do remember reading something. I didn't post that on there, but I believe there was something
Roughly.
like 15 million.
Worldwide?
No, in the UK.
In the UK, 15 million people are playing D&D.
Somewhere between
that's a quarter of the population.
I mean,
that would be a bit
Okay, so
higher.
you're looking at 13.7 million worldwide.
30% worldwide, okay. Is there a UK figure by any chance?
I might have misread that.
you might have read it as the worldwide figure.
Yeah, sorry.
To be fair, I thought you said 50 million in the UK, and I was like, eh?
Yeah, yes, everyone's playing D&D.
The Toddler edition.
Yeah.
How amazing would that be if
So
everyone was playing D&D?
with 15 million, I mean, you probably like a few, maybe a few hundred thousand.
See total stats.
Well, right at the end, your camera goes like that.
So yeah, we are only getting 1/15 of people going on that website, so there is a definite market for
I don't think you can.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, your actual target audience then reverts back to, I don't know, if it's 15 million worldwide, it's quite a worldwide phenomenon. There's a lot of countries where this takes place. So actually it dilutes your UK audience, maybe 200,000, kind of, you know, let's say maximum kind of 15% or something of that is in the UK. A TV ad, you're likely to be paying for a lot more than
getting advertised worldwide. So to get it advertised worldwide.
No, if you're just looking at the UK market.
Oh, okay.
If you're looking at the UK market, I mean, obviously you could look for worldwide advertising, but the problem is if let's say we go up to even like 300,000 people in the UK, actively playing D&D, whatnot. That math heads.
I'm out.
300,000 out of 60 million.
That is quite.
That sounds like it's meant to be 5%.
It sounds about 5%, I think.
Yeah, 5%.
So we're talking 5%, but
Well, 6 million, 10% would be
TV audiences
600,000.
obviously are a lot wider than that. So you might be actually spending a lot of money on not, because 95% are not your target audience.
Right.
It's also worth mentioning you missed out a major competitor in your online segment.
Did I?
You missed out a big one, which is Roll20. Who also
I've literally never heard of them.
They also cover all the digital platforms, and I think they look at. I'm going to tell you the exact. For specifically D&D 5e, you're looking at a 76833 or 710033. Sorry, players using that just for that service.
What the?
And it all falls down.
Oh, I've had my documentary idea now.
Yeah, so you're looking at a decent number. I can't do it without the letters, but you know, it's
71,000. Is it 71 and then a comma?
Well, it doesn't have a comma, it just says numbers straight.
You're literally copying me.
7100.
71003.
Yeah, that's 71,000.
Yes, there's 71,000 people using this. They might be using it in tandem with that, but it's not worth mentioning. They hold a market share to some degree.
Okay, I'll connect.
No, well, that's why it's good to kind of talk about it in terms. Okay, so yeah, that's one aspect to be aware of, and maybe. I mean, you know, have a think about the TV ad. I think the TV ad format is not wrong, but maybe the actual distribution as a YouTube ad can be much more targeted than to audiences that.
I just thought because it's an area that hasn't been tapped in.
Yeah, no, interesting. So I mean, what you could look at, I think, rather than saying generic TV ad, is kind of look at, okay, if it was to be a TV ad, you need to make it highly targeted. So you need to look where your 5% of the population actually is most likely to be switching on. So are there any particular channels, are there particular shows that might kind of engage that?
Maybe it needs to be a YouTube video instead.
Well, so, I mean, maybe there is something like, fantasy, regular, unfortunately we don't have a kind of terrestrial channel kind of advert thing, but it
Not
would
like the D&D channel,
it would have lived well maybe, if Game of Thrones would have been, well, although it was on Sky, but Sky doesn't, do Sky have adverts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Sky do.
You pay for,
There's
okay,
also
anyway, sorry.
the Sci-Fi channel.
Or the Sci-Fi channel, yeah. So you can have like those niche channels
Yeah.
or niche shows or whatever that where your kind of 5% are most likely to hang out.
So
So
look-
suddenly your
look
5% of interest might rise to 30% of
Yeah.
interest, which then suddenly makes it more worth it to be spending that money. So I think in your marketing plan, if you say things like TV advert, try to have a look at what would be the most effective way of spending that money by saying precisely, okay, yes, Sci-Fi channel or things like that. For that. Okay, any other kind of aspects? So what was good is you've got good smart targets. Yeah, just have a look in terms of your video output, what you're doing. It seems good. And you need to offer a little bit more insight of what the actual content is going to be of those ads.
Okay.
So for the TV ad, what are we likely to be seeing?
Well, I did have this idea of like perhaps you have two people. This would be like in the world of Dungeons and Dragons. You have two people running through a forest saying, "Oh my God, there's a horrible thing behind us! Quick, get out your random item that will save us or whatever." And he starts rummaging through loads of bits of paper. He's like, "Yeah, hang on, it's here somewhere. Yeah, hang on."
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
and then
Yeah,
it goes
I
and
like
kills
it.
them.
Yeah.
And then you just have another player just like get out his phone and it's like, and the thing's dead, sort of thing. Not quite like that, but
no, I
that's
like
fine.
it. I
Yeah.
like it. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So would you do a kind of live action kind of play that out in the woodlands? And
Yeah,
all
so
that?
you
That's
know
good.
those Kellogg's adverts where it's the guy who's like, nobody make a sound, and they're just like,
Okay.
it's
Oh,
kind of
you-
like
it's
that.
the crunching up.
Okay.
That comedic element, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, no, I like it. Yeah. Okay, brilliant. Yeah. So that sold me on that. What's the Instagram videos or the social media videos that you were
Yes.
suggesting? What is the image content?
Well, from previous things they've done, there's been like a selection of images of the hardcover books, and they've advertised them as PDFs, and there's been like some burning embers in the background sort of thing.
Okay, so you're looking at this as that.
Yeah, well that's like previous attempts they've done. I might try and branch out into something a bit more unique, but while still retaining that obviously D&D Beyond logo.
And they're kind of like micro shorts, like 10 seconds or what are they?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay,
And
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, fab. Okay, sounds cool. Awesome.
God, that wasn't as terrible as I thought it was going to be.
No, well, it's something that you're passionate about, so it's kind of fun to talk about it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, that's all good. Also, you'll be very pleased to hear that I just bought a D&D starter set for my kids.
Yes, Julian. Yes, you're not going to have a life after uni anymore,
Also,
but
by
yes,
the way-
well done.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry, Ellie, you might have a look at because I just gone to Google Trends.
Yeah.
And I don't actually know unfortunately it doesn't tell me the number, it just gives me a number, so I'm assuming that's the searches per day.
Yeah.
And it looks like we're currently it's been reaching up since
When Brexit
July.
winds you up so much, we just want to abolish the EU.
Let's go for the past day.
Destroy
Is that January for Dungeons and Dragons?
I've
To be
gone
honest, though, what's the
I've
point of
compared
Russian like
some
that if Brexit?
feasibly comprehend, so I was
Well,
thinking
what's
about
that?
expanding, but that's not recent.
Okay.
But that's I think so compared to.
Add your own
past 90
size.
days, you're looking at
What is the red? What is
So
the
really
Oh,
more
that's
the red,
the
I think,
sky.
isn't it?
What did you think?
I don't know, I just
So if
thought
I
you'd
go
like
past
Very nice.
So it's
I'm good at
one.
We're looking at about 50.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Be like,
Just very quickly, it's now just 1:45, so we're nearly finished with our session. So yeah, Sean and Caleb, please be ready for tomorrow afternoon to share all of that goodness. So what I would suggest though is if I have a quick chat with each person who's individually been presenting, just to kind of get you 100% kind of sorted, so that you know kind of 100% where you're going and what you're actually creating, because we haven't got too much time left. So I want to make sure that everything's kind of realistic and we'll achieve something quite nice. I'll also bring up the marking criteria so that we've got that in front of us. I hope it's not going to stress you out, Imogen. No, you're right?
Wait, what?
Being shown marking criteria at this point?
Yeah, that's fine. I haven't written anything or done anything yet. So.
Alrighty, good. Let's proceed then.
I've got 33 minutes of footage.
Alrighty. So, also please don't forget your production portfolio that you're doing alongside this, okay? So you need to record your progress, and these videos that we've just done of your presentation obviously form a part of it. However, when you put in those videos, can you please put them at the relevant timestamps? Okay, you know all how to timestamp a video, a YouTube video? Nope.
Somewhat.
Is that just where you like right click on it at a certain point and go like
exactly
thingy from this point?
I don't think I've ever had
Thingy from this point is exactly what we're looking for.
So we actually have to submit what we've just done.
Yeah, it's part of your portfolio.
Okay. Oh right, no, got you right.
Okay, so let's say that we've got this video
platform to manage your entire marketing team. From content creation and strategic planning, everybody is.
Okay, so for some reason this is the important part of the video that I wanted to share with people, okay, or let's say your presentation.
Does look like she's having a very important
What you do is you put the play ahead at the point where it's starting, then you right click on the play button and you say copy video URL at current time.
Okay.
So that if I do that and open a new tab and now paste this, can you see where it says T equals 160? 160 is the amount of seconds into the video. So if I hit enter, it will start exactly at that point.
Clever.
Okie dokie. So the way to do it, right click and then copy video URL at current time. And now it will be 161 rather than 160 because I've just cleaned it up a second. Alrighty?
Okay.
Cool. Yes. So yeah, don't forget this production portfolio needs to happen. Should I just briefly remind you of the things that you need for the production portfolio? So, again, there's a minimum word count, documentation of your progress throughout the project, a variety of visual contents, drawings, and other pre-production materials to evidence the creative development of the marketing campaign, and a description of the overall campaign strategy. So, you have taken care of a description of the overall campaign strategy through your presentation. Okay? So that is fine. However, you will now also be looking at possibly amending some bits. So as the feedback that you've received now from your presentation, you know that there may be, you know, so for Jack we said like actually you might want to you know, focus on that one SMART objective and hence tweaking a little bit your actual campaign to serve that particular objective. For Tom, we kind of said, you know, scrap a couple of them as well, and then just be more targeted in what you do. So all of those changes, you know, write about that. So I am not going to force you to do blogs, okay? But
thank you, God, my friend.
You can do blogs. If you like blogs, do blogs. But the only other alternative that I will entertain is Google Paper. Not Google Paper, Dropbox Paper.
What the?
I've never heard of
which is just like Google Docs, with the difference that you can actually embed natively YouTube videos, and you can embed rich content. Because I don't want to navigate away all of the time from your actual document, and it makes a much nicer presentation altogether of what you are creating. Also important on Dropbox Paper is that you can put in timelines as well, which kind of, you know, where you can nicely annotate what you are doing at what point. You know, for you, for example, I think, Tom, you had quite a specific time plan of what's going to be happening when. Okay, you can put in that time plan in that, and you've used Dropbox Paper before anyways.
I've done my thing
which works really well. So he's been kind of testing it out for all of us. So yeah, if you're not doing a blog, and you're more than welcome to do a blog, you can use Dropbox paper.
It's still going to be in the same format, isn't it? With like little dated bits and bobs and being like, I did this.
So we can submit it at once at
Please,
the end.
please
I was like,
do it
that-
concurrently. So don't do a production portfolio like 2 days before deadline.
So
Just kind
what
of-
if you wrote it down in a notebook and then typed it all up sort of?
But that's
with
fine.
the-
That's fine as long as they're contemporaneous
I'm really
notes.
confused.
Because to be honest, I will be able to tell.
Yeah.
Because you will have forgotten most of the stuff that you're doing now
I
in
forget most
5
things
weeks
2
time.
hours later after do it.
Yeah.
I don't
So-
trust this because it's spelled.
I'm happy
Can I
with
do,
you
like,
doing your own notes.
Not like handwritten as in I'm going to hand it in, but like
How
if I were to
interesting.
like get my graphics tablet out and like
Presentation.
write like notes and like
As
I
long
don't
as
know,
it's legible.
If I
sure.
wanted to do like sort of some
I don't get what we're doing.
brainstorming.
Yeah, brainstorming, concept drawings, all of the
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, chuck it
Okay.
in there. I'm more than happy. If you want me to discern the writing, obviously,
Yeah.
try to be.
I'll be at the
So
next
that's the
one.
actual things we're making,
that's it.
isn't it? That one. And then that's the bit that we're doing, that we're talking about now.
Okay.
I don't know.
So what I'll do, because we don't have time for that now, is tomorrow after the 2 presentations, I'll just introduce you a little bit more to Dropbox paper, for those who don't want to be doing a blog.
Oh, what are they called? When you brainstorm and you do
Mind
a map,
maps.
that's it.
I'm not going to lie,
sorry to interrupt you.
ATS is a bit confusing.
Is it?
Yes.
What's being confusing?
So it says here coursework video, right? But that's not what it is it? It's the
It's
moving
like video
image
assets.
That's all it is.
Video assets, yeah.
And then this presentation thing we've got to submit spelled wrong as well, so I don't trust that.
What portfolio and evaluation? Where's this spelled wrong?
Factual program
Oh, sorry,
presentation.
yeah.
When do we get our first stuff?
Yeah, this week,
what we've just
But-
done.
and that will be
Yeah.
factual programming that you get this week, and I think the week after you're getting
That's basically what we've just done.
digital generation.
Yeah, that's what we submit for Friday.
Yeah, no,
next
but it's
week.
basically.
when
I'm
will
just
I
saying-
So this week you will get
Basically what
factual
we've just done
programming,
with the
next
document.
week
Yeah,
you
but
will
that's
get
what we're
digital
presenting.
Yeah, I know,
generation.
I know. Just checking.
When will we find out about
Wait, is this wrong?
Extensions,
Yeah.
extenuating circumstances, well, you've had it in the paperwork.
Yeah.
All of that is in, and the panel meeting is going to be in the summer.
What?
Yeah. But I did mention that before, that those panel meetings are only once a year.
Wait,
I can check if there's a semester one, actually. There might be
I
one maybe
literally
end of
got
semester.
told that there was a meeting that week where they were going to discuss it.
Okay, well, I'm not aware of that because last year it was all in the summer.
So let me just get this straight. At this moment in time, it's capped at 0.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And it remains 0 until.
It's capped until 0 until next
Yeah,
summer.
but at the end of the first
That-
year, I didn't find out I had to
To be
resubmit
perfectly
till about
honest,
2 weeks before.
Sean, to be perfectly honest, that's how it was last year. So it might be that things have kind of changed because you said that somebody told you that it's going to be discussed at the meeting next
Yeah,
week.
well, I called up to say
Okay.
when it'll be due in. They
That's
said there'll be a
something
meeting.
that's new to me, so I haven't been privy to that. And again, I'm not involved with those decisions, so I don't even attend those meetings because they look at it individually on the merit of the evidence that you've submitted. Obviously, I've written my little bit in there. So yeah, I'm kind of removed from that. But that was the information that I had from last year.
Yes.
So apologies if that's not correct as of this year, but yeah. Alrighty.
But yeah, I was
Good.
in that
Any
situation.
questions with regards to production portfolio? No? Okay. And that's moving asset delivery. So actually, it wasn't even the module guide I wanted to bring up. We need the marking criteria, which are hidden. Digital generation.
So do
you know
we-
what day we'll get our stuff back this week? Friday, is it?
At the latest.
It's a factual program. Was that the essay I've had?
If you fail, you fail, and I fail.
Oh, great.
Factual
Alright
programming
then.
was the one that I was just like, shit. Wait, have we done 300s already?
Alrighty.
Yes.
So, marketing criteria for the actual asset. It's a presentation of well-planned marketing strategy, including a broad range of ideas, opinion, and aesthetic qualities to engage an audience will be delivered. Okay, so this is what we're currently looking at and tweaking your marketing strategy. Okay, you know what has been highlighted as potential issues, and I happily invite you to kind of look at this video. This video is going to be live at the end of the day because you weren't necessarily able to take notes as we were giving you the feedback. So look back through the video, look back through what information you got as feedback, and amend your marketing strategy accordingly. Okay, so don't just say like, okay, yeah, we've presented it, I've got that feedback, and not doing anything about it. You need to actually amend it. Your marketing strategy needs to reflect those improved kind of outcomes. Okay, second one is digital assets created to a high professional standard in accordance to the marketing brief. So again, here I want rather quality than quantity. Okay, I don't need 10 different videos for social media of some kind. I'd be happy with 3, but that are done to a really high degree, something that you can actually show as professional style stuff. Okay, at the same time, please remember the media mix. Okay, so don't do it that you put lots of efforts into, let's say, your YouTube ad, and you do a VR 360 kind of video, and then you just quickly kind of pump out like a few social media posts. Okay, try to even out your effort across all of them. Okay, all of them are equally as important. If you put them in your marketing plan, they have got an equal importance, and they all need to be to the highest quality possible. Also, one of the things that is important, we haven't seen it necessarily here, although I know that we haven't kind of like suggested it, but have a look at what other companies are doing for comparable kind of social media posts or adverts and so on, and try to emulate something within that quality, because that's the kind of stuff that when you create it will actually stand out hugely in your portfolio and will generate good marks. Clear evidence of the adherence of procedures and preliminary feedback. Again, you need to show, as I was saying, you need to be able to show that you have taken that feedback in and that you have made the amendments as such. So don't just save over the marketing proposal that you have done. Post your original marketing proposal, okay? Reflect back on the feedback that you have received today. So write down a little bit of reflection on that, and then post your amended marketing proposal for that. And then lastly, effective and effective, imaginative, and clearly demonstrable creative input into the production. Again, one of the things that was great to see from today's presentation is actually that a lot of you have actually put in a good amount of thoughts into what you want to be creating. That was genuinely really cool to see, and also I really liked the ambition of a lot of your projects. It's really good. You kind of like are aiming high generally for what you want to be creating, and I hope that you can match it in terms of the actual output. One of the things that wasn't missing today was the creativity, okay? But now, obviously, the next measure is like how you can pull it off, but also your ability to kind of have a plan B if things don't work out. Sorry.
Slightly backtracking a little bit. With the, I just had a weird crackhead moment. Only way I can describe it is like that. Would I be able to sort of, because I saw on Crunchyroll or the Wine Show the other day, there was a new segment about a hospital somewhere else in the country. Cool. Would I be able to sort of do a sort of news item-esque sort of story?
Go for it, yeah, I like it.
Sort of presenter-based.
You just need to see how it fits in your marketing objectives, and how you would disseminate that effectively. Okay. That, just build it into your marketing proposal. The news format is great. It's different, and but you need to find its place and make it relevant for potential audiences. That's the only criteria that you need to be aware of.
Is criteria 3 something that obviously we have to do when we're like doing it, but it's more going to be assessed in the portfolio?
So it's one of those kind of in between. So in a way, your portfolio will show your reflection on things like the feedback and your actual process. obviously in assessment criteria 3, this is for just the assets, those marking criteria, but that is the evidence of how that feedback has actually fed into the final product, if you know what I mean. Okay, so there's the difference on the on your portfolio is where you think and where you're saying, okay, what are the changes that I might need to make, and these other conventions and these other things that other people are doing. Now, seeing it on the actual assets, okay, is me seeing how you've actually translated that into your practical work.
Okay, so that bit is sort of like you have to write it down
Yeah.
in the thingy, and then it has to be seen in the
Exactly,
Okay.
because it might have been that in the portfolio you've kind of, you know, talked very smart about all of those things, but then you did what you wanted to do anyways, and that's basically to kind of, check on that. Because I know that a lot of people sometimes go into things with very specific ideas and already know now what it's going to be looking like. But working with the marketing and ad industry, it's always going to be changed and changed and changed. It's go iterations, and it's that iterative process. I want to be seeing the final product, you know, showing that that thought process has taken place, and not just the first idea just got taken and pushed out. Good. Okay. So because of time, actually, we're going to push back the individual reviews for your marketing plan to tomorrow. But please, for tomorrow, those who have already given your presentations, can you please start looking at, okay, these are the amendments that you're doing for your marketing plan, and a concrete plan of visually, what are you going to be creating, and what is it going to be showing, and how are you likely to be able to make it happen. Okay? Okay.
Is there anything we need to know about these interviews? Or
No, there's nothing you need to know. You know, we are going to be responding on very sudden opportunities that arise, and your ability to quickly kind of turn, you know, make yourself presentable.
Sort of thing like you walk into an interview, suddenly the previous interviewee is holding the interviewer at knife point and asking for the job. What do you do?
I'm trying to think of a show I saw once. There's a guy
just to remind you, so the deadline for the moving image assets are the 20th of January. Okay.
Is
So
that a hand in or is that a soft hand in?
no, that is the actual hand in. That's the final for
Dun.
the assets. The portfolio and evaluation is a little bit later.
When does the Christmas break end? What day are we back?
Sorry, Christmas break ends. Yeah, so 6th. We're back on the 6th. I can, however, recommend to you. I am generally around next week. We don't have actual lectures, but I'm saying that to anybody who needs camera equipment. The stores are open. Please take stuff out over the Christmas holidays. However, I need to know about this before, because I need to give written permission for you to take stuff during the holidays. Okay, so do let me know. Same is for everybody who does 360 VR video, which is definitely Tom.
Yes.
How am I
You as well?
Mine's on the thing, but I might change it. Because
Well, we're gonna nail it down tomorrow, because you need to nail it down.
I need to see if it fits my
When you do
marketing
it,
plans and that.
Exactly. So you're gonna need the 360 camera. I'm happy for you to have it over Christmas. If you think that
I
you're
have a very,
filming stuff
very
over
good,
Christmas, that is not a problem
review
whatsoever.
of immigration, I just
will you
believe
be-
that we should
the
follow
thing
Australia's
is-
spot a little bit more.
I can't make it available just this week, so would you be happy to kind of pick it up next week?
It's a little bit wild, but I'm not
Okay.
saying, oh yeah,
Then we're
let's
fine.
go full Oz.
Right. Last
Yes.
last
Yes,
thing.
I'm going real World War II.
Quickly checking. Friday afternoon. Are you guys? So because what I was now thinking of doing is because you were kickstarting the idea of like, well, you know, a
Lunch out.
get together
Yeah.
type thing.
Yes, do it.
Okay. So facilities. So if you like, I can make this more of a thing, and I can actually purchase some nibbles and drinks and stuff like this,
I
and make it.
can run my PlayStation up, we can play some games.
Exactly.
Yes, please do. Can we play that game we played last time?
Absolutely.
I'm so glad that
I'm happy,
you guys
and there's-
enjoyed it.
There's a little bit of budget for
you
that.
look like
So I'll
Blue
purchase.
gloves?
I'll purchase some stuff. and then we'll just schedule it for
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
1, 2 o'clock.
Okay.
Because you've got Nick until 12. Is that correct?
Are we even in? Because I saw online that we might not be in.
What? You are.
No, we are.
Friday.
I saw it was
We have to do the
Day.
documentary presentations. don't we?
Nick will tell you. Nick would have told us if
It's basically what we've just done, but for the documentary.
I didn't know we had to do that!
Sean, that's
Well,
what I
now
was just
you
talking
do.
about.
I'm losing my mind,
Now you
honestly.
do.
Oh yeah.
Right, I do have to go in on Friday. Right,
That's an important presentation.
Yeah.
That is an
You actually
important
have to
one.
hand something in on ATS.
Yeah.
I thought that was just treatment.
No, well.
Oh no, it's a presentation.
You are
the idea
pitching
where
that it's part
where
of.
it originates from.
That's part of the actual.
I already have my
assessment.
documentary idea, and I'll tell you, it's based on that
Oh,
banana
no.
that got eaten.
I had one, but I had to change it. 'cause
Mine's about which
it's very
Okay.
similar to Tom's.
So please check on the module guides what you need to do. Please email Nick if you need if you have any questions. Okay, he's there for that purpose, but you need to email him by
Sooner rather than later.
by latest tomorrow, because I know he's not going to be checking his emails on Thursday.
Who?
Okay, Nick, if you've
What do
got
you
any
need to-
questions,
Oh no, I'm right.
you can email him, but latest will be Wednesday, because that's the last time before Friday that he will be working
Hang on.
on campus. Okay, so that's for Friday. Elliot,
Yes.
you need 4 hours of work experience placement?
Yes, I do.
Please don't break your back again.
No, I'm good.
Friday afternoon from 4 o'clock onwards. I think I emailed you or messaged you possibly. On this
definitely hasn't
email
seen it.
account. Okay, you definitely haven't seen it.
And if don't even pretend, just say no.
Okay. So Friday 4 o'clock Dance Network film opportunity. 4 hours.
Oh, I didn't get hold of Fraser the other night.
Where would it be?
Here.
Here.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
right.
not in this room. In a room over there.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
I might need to get a lift, but I can do. No, I can get a train home. That's fine. Yes, definitely. Done.
Cool.
Look at you driving out to the train.
So the thing that makes it quite easy for you, because you're in on Friday anyways, staying
Yeah,
for
stay here.
for the party
Have some-
stuff.
Oh, I can't
and
get
then-
plastered then. Oh, well.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well.
Stuff at work. Oh no, the other night someone came into work high and drunk, and it was really funny. It was the work due last week and
I won't
tonight.
get high. I will get drunk, but I won't
Okay,
get high.
make sure that you kind of put
It was
that
the right
in you,
laugh,
because
wasn't
I
it?
need to take you off
Yes,
on
take
that
me
one.
off.
So
I'm
you're definitely one of the
Tell me
three
what-
students.
Where exactly over there?
It will be in W something.
Would
It's in the W
it be
block.
worth
I
us
will give
getting
you the
a
number,
Domino's
and I
or
will
a
be
Papa
around
John's?
anyways.
So Papa John's do.
Is it just me or
no,
is anyone
but
else
they
doing
should
There will be
discount.
2 other
course,
people
that's
from year
not-
1.
Okay.
And we can get like we can get like a couple
Cool.
of Excel.
No, I can definitely do that. Yeah.
That sounds good. You might be lucky actually. You know that James comes from Clacton.
Yes.
Talk to him, because he will come back some way or another. So if you've got
Oh no,
problems,
sorry. Do I know him?
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't know him. No.
Okay, but yeah, obviously year 1. He's also from Clacton.
Yeah. No, but I'm in Little Clacton now, aren't I?
Isn't that on the way?
Yeah.
Anyways,
Well, it depends
I
which way you
just
go.
wanted to say that if you've got transport problems, maybe just kind of chat to him.
Oh no. If I can't get the very last bus, I can just get the train.
Cool.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sounds
I
good.
have money now. I've been paid by work, so I have money now.
How much do you have?
All right.
I have £200.
How long did you go that game, mate?
Lucky for some, I have
Sounds
like
like you haven't
£600 in my
No, you are not,
overdraft.
Sean.
I am.
How much?
Adobe got taken out of my account without me knowing, and then I had to pay rent. So I'm £600 down in my overdraft.
How does that work? So you need you.
I
so
have
when
a
you
free.
get £600,
Luckily enough,
you're
with my
back to zero.
Santander account,
Yeah.
I have
Shit.
1.5k free of charge
Shit.
in my overdraft.
Sean, but
You have a credit
without
card?
jokes, so if there is any kind of
Money
especially
goes
close
back
to
in there, and I'm going to be paying it all back in.
You're going to be okay. Otherwise,
Yeah.
do bother the financial support
I'll be fine.
people. That service is there.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone
I
to
mean,
go
I'm not-
hungry, thirsty,
Yeah,
or
I'm not
cold or what.
broke. It's
No,
more
but
work's not giving me what I need to broke.
yeah, okay.
Can't you like pick shit up?
But at the
I
same
can, I've had
at the
to.
same time, I want
But-
you also just to be careful in terms of your balance of. I know you work a lot of hours. There's and.
I'm everywhere at the
You
moment.
need time
that-
to rest as well as do
that's-
your work.
That's one of the things
That's
that I
why I'm
just
grateful
want
I've
to
got Sundays
say.
off.
Because I know that you've
Yeah.
got that financial pressure.
Well, it doesn't help that I work. For example, I worked last night, had uni this morning.
Yeah.
I'm out at the work due tonight, and then I'm at work tomorrow night with uni in the morning.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit like a corpse in the
No,
first
no,
4
it's-
days of the week.
It's punishing, and I think just be careful because it's catching up with you one way or another. You know, with
They're all short shifts,
with
but they're long
with
enough.
deadlines and everything. And I
Yeah.
would hate for you
What's
to
your
kind
age, Julian?
of, especially in the second semester, you know, for your
Yeah.
final major project.
I've
you're
also told
struggling.
managers that I got a manager look, he's even said to me, take time off, but whenever I try to take time off, they're like, oh, are you sure you can't? Like last Wednesday when I was trying to get out of work, so I could actually go to the event, and my manager's attitude was, oh, well, we're gonna get put down as a no-show then, even if someone doesn't take your shift. I'm like, but I've told you it's union, it's compulsory, and I'm on fucking 0 hours. I can reject to do these shifts. I still come in and do you guys the favour because I'm poor, but
Yeah.
you know, never mind, eh? But I will sort of give them the heads up.
You need to take a very zen.
No, I need a few shots of tequila tonight.
That too.
Good stuff. Alrighty,
By a few
everyone.
shots, I mean
Thank you, Julian.
one.
That actually really saves me. That 4 hours.
Good.
Thank you.
Good. Let's.
I'll be
let's
fine.
do that.
If I do get concerned, I'll go speak to financial aid, but I'll be fine, I'm sure.
Yeah, please do bother them.
Worst comes to worst, I beg my sister for some help. But she's learning.
Yeah.
See you later.
See you guys.
See you then. Alright. Good.
How's everything on your end, Kayla?
I have given up on trying to do what I was originally going to do, so I'm just doing a presentation because
Okay.
Adobe was being annoying.
Alrighty, well that's.
I was doing it the old-fashioned way.
Okay.
finish the email. Aha, yes. Yeah, so a couple of notes that I would say. So this one, I would say in general, just say as a default we will be providing some food on the day, but feel free to bring your own stuff if you've got any particular requirements. Okay, always kind of put what you're offering in first, because there might be feel put out if you say either bring your own food or buy it yourself. And then only afterwards you kind of mention, oh, but we can also buy it for you. It's like, no, you lead it with, we'll be providing some food, and so on. However, if you feel free to kind of bring in your own stuff if you so wish to do that. The other thing that I would say, I would like to inform you is the worst way that anybody gets any. If you open ever any letter that says I hereby inform you, you go like, oh, what have I done now? So lose the I would like to inform you, because it's normally never followed by anything pleasant. This is the fun thing. So you would be playing the character. And there I would say, you'd be welcome to improvise. And so again, make it as an option.
Put it maybe less about improvise and more your input towards.
Yeah, or make it your own, or your input. Yeah, exactly. Because some people then kind of might be thinking like, "Oh, I'm supposed to be improvising," where some actors have no experience in improvising. But if you say like,
input comes
with
more
your input, yeah.
Casual and possibly.
Yeah. So that'll be good.
Where are you filming?
We're filming in like a public footpath in Hellyfields. It's quite small.
Right.
And we're doing the TV studio, which is quite nice because you can control a lot of lighting.
Sure.
Cool. Yeah, so those would be the two main changes. And one of the things that I mentioned is like try to hype up the film a little bit. Say, we were putting actually a lot of effort in it, and we're sure that it will be a great piece of showreel as well for you, and so on. So just like in the first paragraph, just hype it up a little bit, so they're like, oh yeah, actually that all sounds cool. So that'll be the three things. So hype it up a bit in number one. Luster, I would like to inform you.
Okay.
You would be playing this. And lastly here, just make it, loosely improvise, and instead kind of do it, we'd be very open if you wanted to bring in your own ideas. And the food thing. If you lead with, we will be providing food, however, if you prefer, you can also, of course, bring your
just
own
sort of
stuff.
state food will be provided. However, feel free to bring your own.
And at the same time, fingers crossed that he only wants, because the thing is, you know, you can't just have biscuits and drinks at the ready, and then if the person kind of doesn't turn up with any food, then you know, like, okay, what kind of sandwich do you like? And then you buy like cheap sandwiches at Pound or something like this. That'll be perfectly fine. Just
Also, always bring umbrellas.
Yes.
We're talking like
yes,
5.
you've certainly experienced a variety of those.
You may think 2.
You know what's really good actually is, and we should have one here, but to be honest, it's going to break too often. But buying a gazebo, like a cheap Asda gazebo, is not a bad investment. It's like 12 quid, I think. Then you can't put them up when it's proper windy. But if it's just that little bit of rain, you know, just to know that your stuff is protected, somewhere to stay dry, it's really worth it. And they pack together in like a little bag like this. So if you invest in, I know that the uni won't invest in a gazebo because most of the time they will come back broken from students.
Oh yeah.
So if you for your own production want to buy like a 12 quid gazebo, you know yourself responsible for it, you know, pack it away, it'll be quite worth it
Another
for
good
the 3
option is
years.
like a cheap foldable table or something, because the amount of times if you're going outside,
True,
like,
yeah.
putting stuff on the floor is not a good option. Having somewhere to put scripts, having somewhere to put a camera.
Actually, I do have a little cheap foldable table that I have not used in the 5 years that I've had it. So actually, I could donate this to the course.
Yeah.
Thinking about it, actually, I never bought it. It was a leftover from a film shoot. So I'll bring that in. It's like a little suitcase, and I mean it's more child size, but it's robust enough to, you know, for grown people to stand on. It's just quite small. Yeah, it's a small table.
Yeah, literally, like, the one thing we discovered when me and Imogen were filming out there was we didn't have anywhere to put anything.
Yeah.
And also the umbrellas were not enough.
Yeah.
Think what you're going to take, then take like 5 more. Also, make sure you know that there is camera covers available.
Oh yeah, you had that thing as well.
The thing where we wiped down all the equipment and then still got complained at for being wet. So we sat here for an hour drying it out.
Cheers.
Alrighty. Good. Yeah. So you did get some kind of responses from Brandon, but yeah, he's not turning up, I presume. From that. Yeah. Okay. But you have got all of the details that you need so far.
Yeah.
Okay. I will be.
And it won't be. Well, it will be the end. Well, I wouldn't say it won't be the end of the world if Brandon. Hey? It won't be the end of the world if Brandon doesn't show, because the actors will be able to get like their themselves.
Any chance? Any changes?
I think so. I just want somebody to test it, please.
Oh, all right. Could somebody, James, are you logged in via the Wi-Fi here? Could you just type in the website portal.colchester.ac.uk?
I've prepared that link as well in Moodle.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah, if you hit that, and then it'll ask you to log in, just your normal college login. Or uni login in that case. Yeah. So was there actually something broken, or is it just like some
I spoke to Steve Letch, who's the guy who oversees our security.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Film production, please. And then just any of those should come up. Okay. Good.
We've cracked that.
Okay, so it says about, if you just close it. Ooh, okay. So something about an expired session. Try and get one of the level 6 ones down.
What's that saying?
So, sorry, please refresh the page to continue.
And when you ask for refresh, what happens, please? That's not helpful, is it? Could you do a screen print and just email across to IoT service desk for
So
me,
for
please?
screen print, this one, print screen. And then I think if you go to your email, just the standard email. Where to? Just to the help desk?
IoT service desk, please, yeah. That's one step forward and still another one to go.
We get to see the document at least, which is one thing.
It's a start. Yeah, but the link from Moodle to the portal should also work now.
Yeah, cool,
Yeah.
fantastic. Oh,
All right.
that's great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Those changes.
Sorry, yeah.
I put me to boost it. Me and the production team are very hopeful that with you as the main character, that this short film will be a success, and we hope that with this we can provide you with a solid short film for your show.
Yeah, right.
The next change was you'll be playing the main character, Alexander.
Yeah.
If or when you read the script, you'll be very welcome for your input into the plot or on top of the film or any other changes for your roles, so you feel as comfortable as you can.
Yeah.
Next change.
I'll just get rid of the last bit, actually, for your role. You don't need, so you feel as comfortable as you can. Other changes for your role, you can leave the for your role, just after for your role. It's not needed.
Okay, next change in regards to lunch, we're providing food for all the production team for 2 days. However, you are very welcome to either bring in your own food or buy food in your town as well as in town. Yes, that's it.
Cool, yeah. Sounds good.
I can't find how to set the importance to high. There's the options.
To be honest, I've never done it in Gmail. I don't know if it's got the same thing. I think this is more when you use Outlook.
Do you know how to set it to high, Tommy? Emails?
What do you mean high?
Like a high importance.
I think this is an internal Outlook only thing.
Yeah.
So it's where the program kind of sets that, but it's not hard coded into the actual email.
Okay, so the email's good to send?
I think it reads very well, yeah.
Good.
So with that same one, then go out to the other actor too. The exact same?
When Brandon gets in touch with the other person, give us our email and the phone number, you just have to
forward it.
Basically copy and paste
the
message, change the names.
Yep. Cool.
Just make sure that everything, and then obviously the attachments, make sure you have the attachments.
Cool. Alrighty, shall we
Start
Kahoot our way into the session?
Yeah, that's what I like to hear, Julian.
Alrighty.
Message Brandon saying, can you let Rob know if send an email?
Cool.
Just directly to Brandon.
Oh, group chat.
Oh, okay. So I'll put in this one. This is just 10 questions. It's actually quite similar to the one that I've done just with the year 3s.
The chat, no, not the chat, sorry. Key session. George is going to get competitive.
As always, Tommy, you know me.
Yeah. Oh no, lighting and film.
Yes.
You're going to kill me.
Oh.
I'm not good at lighting.
You're remarkable, this is it. I think that's like a...
Wow, look at that. That's different. That's not the normal Kahoot track.
I thought they had the Christmas Eve theme, not the
they
jingle.
did.
But I think that's like customised, isn't it? I'm sure.
What are you kind of doing? Film lighting. Oh, it's got good lighting. It's not exactly the one that we've done. We've done the 20 questions.
Right, I'm ready to go. I'm good.
if you want, you can join in, but you're going to be out of competition.
No, I've been losing by 3 on the bounce.
Sorry?
I'm on a competitive streak. I won 3 on the bounce. I don't lose.
He's going to be out of competition.
Thank you. Good.
It's like Sean when she was in. You know.
Oh, she was unbelievable. She got
What topic was it that we did when she was in?
I think it was an all-rounder.
All-round kind of like film knowledge and stuff.
I think it was 16 questions and she got the first 15 right.
Oh, right, okay. We only have 2 up, now 3 are in. And non-competitive is also in.
And then we had one of the observers in one of the lessons.
Oh yeah. Alrighty, let's crack on. 10 questions. Lighting in film. Are you ready?
No.
10 questions. What lights are typically used in a film studio? Nice and easy. Go on. Key filler back, spot filler behind, key filling behind, spot filler back. And it is key filler back. Alrighty.
I knew it's the key. Why did I put it?
Alrighty.
Oh no.
A scene which is very dark and has many shadows is called high key lighting, low key lighting, natural lighting, artificial lighting. 1, 2, 3, and 4. It is low key lighting indeed. Very dark with many shadows. Lighting which is created by the sun or other natural light sources is known as artificial, man-made, natural, or nautical lighting. And it is called natural lighting. Okay, and next we go 4 out of 10. If you wanted to highlight someone or something in a scene, you would use a backlight, filler light, natural light, key light. And it is a key light. Key light does point out.
It's so frustrating. You go for something, you don't.
To help remove fake looking light or harsh shadows, you would use a key light, a filler light, natural light, all of these. It is a filler light that takes away the harsh shadows and smoothens the look out.
Bloody hell, James.
Light that is very bright and where there aren't many shadows is called low key lighting, high key lighting, overlighting. Very bright and there aren't many shadows is high key lighting. Indeed it is. Okay, quiz. Horror films sometimes use this to create a look that creates lots of shadows and mystery. Is it top lighting, side lighting, back lighting, under lighting? It is under lighting. Alrighty. Next, if you place a bright light behind someone and no light in front of them, it creates a silhouette, 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 or silhouette. Silhouette is the correct one. Alrighty. Number 9. Romantic scenes like to use something lighting to create a romantic mood on screen. Hot, warm, chill, natural. Warm lighting.
Jesus.
And by using this type of lighting, it places lots of emphasis on someone, something. Spotlight, top light, backlight, natural light. Not as straightforward, but it is top light. Yeah. I mean, the top light could be a spotlight as well. Yeah. Here we go.
That's the second question.
What?
I wanted to go for it, but I changed my mind.
How are we looking?
Awful, I did.
I'm surprising how well. 7. I didn't think I'd do that. I proved that. You say you did go on today? Did you do one today, could you? Was it so today? How did you roll out? It was much competitive in your class.
Alrighty. Good. Now here we go. So, all good and well. Now, for your production, are there any kind of immediate kind of things that you are concerned? How are you getting on with your research and your prep?
The only things I'm concerned about is just getting the concept of the actors would reduce that.
So the main production.
And Brandon.
Yeah, Brandon not showing up, and then one of us having to step up and be a camera operator, which is fine because we all know how to use camera. But if that wasn't our role, then you know.
No, exactly.
It's
So
probably a
we
bit
need
last
to.
minute.
I will be having a word with him anyways, with that, because obviously we all need to be able to rely on each other. And to be fair though to Brandon, is when he was needed on shoots, he was usually there. But there's all this other preparation beforehand, and you need to know with the actors, and kind of possibly need to build a kind of contingency. What I would suggest, so you've got a scene that you are putting together for outside on the hilly fields, and that is a
email wasn't found.
Apparently so.
Okay. Well, we can look at that in a second. In terms of building contingency, so with actors it's always difficult. But what I would suggest, you've got this scene in hilly fields, and it's a pathway that is not used a lot, I presume, by the public. Right. I would say that you should cast 2 additional people who happen to be male, who happen to maybe be able to kind of take on those roles, but you cast them primarily as extras.
Yeah.
So people to walk in that scene, because one of the things that we always spot student film out of is because it never uses any extras or any people in the background to be in. If you cast for that, and I don't know what your day schedule is, but you say, okay, initially we only need your availability for these couple of hours or whatever you need, or maybe it's just a shot or 2. So in a way it's kind of nice because it only takes them out, because they will be still at college. They have an extra week, so you can ask some of the college students, just to be extras, to walk through the scene. Additionally, it builds for you the capacity to say, actually, one of the actors hasn't turned up. Do you mind filling in? Okay, it's not a bulletproof way, but it's at least some way for you to kind of build some contingency in case that an actor doesn't turn up. Okay, the good thing is your script isn't rocket science. There's only very few lines, and there's a bit of directed action, and you're building the kind of atmosphere through the narrative. So I would say that might be the best way to go about it. First, I will give you the email to Ben Treacher. I am going to share that with you guys and with Brandon, just to give Brandon an opportunity to get it sorted today. And if he doesn't by today, tomorrow morning, one of you sends out that email to Ben Treacher asking whether 2 male students might be available. I wouldn't start being too specific about what kind. You will just need to make things work. At the moment, we're only looking at them as extras. So if you just say, we just need for a couple of hours, or however long you think that's it might just be even 1 hour, if it's just through one shot, that you need 2 people to walk through the scene or something like this. Could even help with your tension built up. You could even build in, because what's in it for the extras, probably not much in terms of being extras as thing. But what you could do, you could maybe build a little add-on in the way that you're ramping up the tension, because it's the whole thing that he thinks that he's being followed, isn't he? Right. So what if he is being followed for a moment, or he thinks he's being followed, he sees the person following them, but actually that person turns away? It's kind of like a false, what do you call it?
False interpretation.
Yeah, something like this. You've got that in the horror movies. Somebody's kind of opening up like a mirrored kind of cupboard, and the music kind of builds up, and they close the mirror, and we kind of expect somebody to be standing behind them, and no, there's nothing. And you can build it up in that way. So there's maybe a little bit, maybe that way you give the background extra a little bit more importance in some ways. And again, it's something that you can easily strip away if you needed to take that extra and actually say, you're going to be main character now. Okay? Because that was also one of the things I discussed with John. I don't know if he's kind of relate that to you a lot. The one major concern, or one of the concerns that I've got about the script in itself, but I don't think you should be kind of tweaking that massively in any sense of form. There's no time for script tweaking really. Is that your script is 5 pages, but it's 5 pages in non-standard script format. It is a script that actually dictates every single shot and every single camera setting, which isn't what you do normally in a script. So the script itself takes a lot more writing, so a lot more space on the page than it would normally if you were just describing the actions. So hence why I think that your 5-minute script is actually going to play out in 3 minutes. That's my guesstimate, okay, because it wrote out a lot longer than what the action actually is. The action is actually quite reduced. So hence why you might want to look at tension fillers, okay, ways to kind of build up the tension kind of more gratuitously, maybe through the insertion of something that requires relatively little direction, such as extras, you know, false herring kind of thing, where you kind of mislead people for a little moment, you know, because that way you can kind of beef it up a little bit. If in the edit your film comes to 3.5 minutes, it's not a problem, because you know that the overall length that needs to be submitted is 10 minutes, but you've got the factual element that you need to build in there. So if it falls out short in the edit, you know that you're going to need to beef up the factual element, which is in a way easier to do because you don't need to follow the narrative framework of a short film. Okay? So I'm not saying it's not going to be a disaster in any sense or form if it only ends up being 3.5 minutes. But I want you to think about how to potentially bring in some fillers that you can film, and then you can see if it works in the edit. If it doesn't work in the edit, I don't want you to make a film longer for the sake of making it like a target time if the overall quality of the film is going to suffer. Okay, I'd rather have something short and sweet than something that's just, you know, the right length, but, you know, it's a bit like that. Oh, actually,